Welcome back, Dungeoneers. It's Sunday afternoon, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to play Dungeons & Dragons. You're watching Dice and Dungeons, and I'm here at the table with...
I'm not at the table, but I'm David Wong. I play Nines at Tabaxi Bard.
I'm Nicole
I'm
Bates.
my own table.
I'm Nicole Bates, and I play Soria, the Changeling Druid.
I'm Greg, and I'm playing Ulseth Ralph, the Furbog Fighter.
And I'm Alexis Bates, your trusty dungeon mistress. Got a couple of announcements. First, I want to say I hope you guys enjoyed that Magic the Gathering special. If you did watch it, you would have known, unfortunately, some footage got corrupted and couldn't be used, so I had to reshoot it. And it was only the two of us, Soria and I. So we might try to do another one in the future with all four of us. But coordinating our schedules is a little bit tough, so we'll see what happens. If you do like it, please let us know, because if you want to see more content, we are tentatively planning on trying to do a couple more like that with the same decks. Do like a best 2 out of 3, see who wins. So let us know if you want to see even more content like that, because we have more packs to open. And if you do like it, we will record more. So take it away, Soria.
Oh, yes, I am announcing a thing very well today. And that is that we are doing a sort of informal, ongoing naming the group contest. You can basically toss out name suggestions as much as you want in Twitch chat, YouTube comments, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much any way you can reach us. If you feel like throwing out some suggestions for group names, and we end up, the contest goes until we, as a group, go, all right, we like that, and it's not 9+1, which it'll probably end up being.
And it has to be better
9
than the
1
Saltworthy.
is the best band name and group name.
But if you make a suggestion and we all agree on it, we will send you one of our Dice and Dungeons mugs, and maybe have a call out in the show.
Yeah, I can guarantee whoever is the chosen winning entry, and it's up to those three. It's up to the 3 players. They just get to pick whatever they like. I'm going to work out some sort of way for that suggestion to be thrown out in the show, and you get a little call out. So it's a little something extra for
enter
you.
as often as you'd like.
Yep.
That felt a little too
Blow up our
cohesive
chat, please.
Yeah.
of an announcement.
Do they need to check to see if the names are trademarked?
No.
That I mean,
It's an internal story group name.
yeah.
That is, unless it's like Coca-Cola, you're not going to be in trouble. So
the
you know,
3 Calaberos.
yeah, actually, you could.
Oh, nice.
Adventurers brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Because the key here is, with trademark and copyright law, is not to be profiting out of the name. So there would be some things like we couldn't put the name on t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that. So keep that in mind with the names you toss out. If you do want to actually maybe see some product in the future on some t-shirts, some mugs, on official artwork for the show, if it is trademarked or copyrighted, we won't be able to use it for any of that. But we can certainly use it as an informal group name.
Now, if you can officially sponsor us, then that will be the name of our group. Right?
That's right. We can
If you want to give us money,
Yeah, like you said, be at least brought to you by, or the official sponsor
Presented
of,
by.
or like they name fields nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
Low interest rate field.
Bank of America, the party.
Yeah, what is the official blank of blank? We can have the official soft drink of online role playing.
the official adventuring party of Your Name Here.
Yeah. You can even send us your name.
You can send us a mug.
Have fun with this, guys. There's no end date here. There's no limit on entries. Just keep them coming.
When I need to grease my dice, I always use WD-40.
You can send them in
LPS.
DMs, in Twitch chat. You can make them public comments on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We might be joining TikTok soon. We're trying to figure out what we
Is
might
that
put up
some
there.
new thing?
Yes, absolutely.
TikTok was
I
a
already have a
character
clock,
from Oz universe.
So that brings us to our other announcement today, which is for our continuing sponsor, Geekified.
Thank you.
Geekified is a tabletop gaming store out of Vinton, Iowa that meets all of your online and in-person role-playing game needs. If you're thinking about picking up some new Magic the Gathering packs, although unfortunately the most recent is that Adventures in the Forgotten Realm is like sold out everywhere.
Yeah, it's
Like
pretty
absolutely
sold out.
everywhere. It's almost impossible to get packs right now. So when they do get back in, Geekified is going to notify us, and we'll try to let you guys know as soon as they have some back in stock. Unfortunately, they're not available at the moment anywhere. But if you do want to pick up another Magic the Gathering set, like Strixhaven, they do have Strixhaven packs, which is a really fun set. Mm-hmm. Or even Rise of Zendikar. I think they still have a few Rise of Zendikar sets.
Strixhaven, I think in like November or something, is going to get a book in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that is indeed the next expansion for Dungeons and Dragons.
There's one smaller one in between.
There's
the
a
dragon one.
I think it's an adventure.
Yeah.
But it's the next full expansion is the Strixhaven expansion coming this November. Pre-orders are not yet available for that book, but they will be, thinking next month. They usually do about 2 months ahead of time. And you will be able to order that through Geekified. So if there's anything you do need to pick up for your tabletop role-playing game needs, head on over to the link that we use, geekified.us/discount/dice and dungeons. Using that link is going to get you 5% off your first purchase, and anything you buy through the link does help support the show. So we thank you very much if you do that. And of course, we thank Geekified for your continuing support. It means a lot to us. And anyone who buys that link, we appreciate that as well. So, thank you, everyone. I think that concludes announcements, right? Mm-hmm. All right.
Yes.
I just want to say that because the show didn't get corrupted, I'm still undefeated in Magic the Gathering.
That's true.
That is
Absolutely true.
It completely avoided that whole match.
Never happened. Prove it did.
He lost in the first draft. He was undefeated. He's 2-1 right now. It's not a bad record. It's not a bad record at all.
There's no video proof that he's not 2-0.
Well, all right, Dungeoneers. Let's roll. Welcome back, everyone. Last time, on Dice and Dungeons, our heroes set out for Stilbourgh, taking the long road away from Nordfeld with their pirate smugglers, to put it pretty bluntly. They've now spent 5 nights on the road, and they most recently took shelter in a temple dedicated to the deity Ujmar, where they found safety against a terrible storm. Now, they're ready to set out again the following morning, continuing their journey towards the coast, and then making a journey further south, eventually hoping to arrive in the Cormorant Republic. So that's where we pick up.
That was quite a storm.
That was quite a storm. I'm glad we weathered it in that temple.
I am too. So, are we on the road
Yeah,
again?
give me breakfast.
Okay. I'll,
What was that? 13 seconds, and then food comes up?
Alright, well,
It's not a new
morning.
record. I think you guys have hit 0 before.
I'm going to take some of the oats I purchased from the village near the temple and prepare a lot of oatmeal, because that's Safine's favorite food from her homeland. So, I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of oatmeal. We got honey, we got jellies, all sorts of stuff to put on it.
I enjoy the oatmeal.
Yeah? Some nuts with it, or...
Just some honey, just something plain.
Okay.
I don't want anything crunchy today.
Okay, noted. Nothing crunchy the whole day.
Right.
Don't feed Olsef bones. Bone broth isn't crunchy.
So, are you a pirate? What's the difference between a pirate, a buccaneer, a swashbuckler, a privateer, and just like a regular sailor?
Well, regular sailors, they are usually working for people that, it's a legal operation.
Uh-huh.
The difference between a privateer and all the other ones is that a privateer is contracted by a government
Okay.
to commit piracy on their behalf. Or other means. It doesn't have to be piracy. It can be guarding a trading vessel or simply carrying things. But it is for a government. All the rest are synonyms.
Wow.
It does not look like cinnamon.
Do you need some cinnamon?
no.
I have it in my pouch.
I do like
You
a little
already
cinnamon
did
on
Here you
my
go.
oatmeal.
All right. I'm just
You're
trying.
getting good use out of that oregano pouch.
It's a magic spice pouch that I can pull any spice out of.
Let's be honest, it's mostly
It's
an
mostly
pouch.
oregano,
Yeah.
but
How many spices do you have in there? 8?
I have 87.
A couple of them must be doubles.
Yeah, it's the white person spice pouch.
I'm gonna say potato salad too.
Yes.
will.
We'll have unseasoned potato salad later.
I think we should take this opportunity, since I have no experience with boats, and I assume you don't either, Elsa. Do any of the three of you mind just like listing every single part of a boat to us?
All three of them look at you just like,
And giving us
I'm
a
not doing
detailed
that.
description of its function?
Perhaps,
like
perhaps you could draw some schematics.
So
No?
We're just gonna construct our own boat.
why do ships travel
Inland?
at knots? Is it because you knot so many ropes on it?
well, you see, the explanation for why ships travel at knots is long and boring and tedious, and I never had time to learn it. So let's move on.
Are we there yet?
No, far from it.
Oh.
We still have a fair number of days left to travel.
Well,
What's the biggest fish you ever saw?
The biggest fish?
Are we doing this on the?
We're in the cart, I assume.
Okay.
oh, are we?
Just want to make sure.
Let's make sure we're in the cart and moving.
If that's where you guys want to be, sure.
Oh, definitely. We want to
Very
be
good.
moving while this is going on.
I mean, I gotta know what we're getting into here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're getting into boat.
Because we saw Sturmgrimmy, and that was a really big fish.
Well, where do you draw the line between a fish and a monster from the depths?
0 line.
Oh, well, then I've seen creatures that can swallow and have indeed swallowed entire vessels.
Wow.
Yes. Have you ever been
Wait, like
swallowed
what
by
kind
one?
of vessels? Because I've been in little rowboats.
Oh, much larger.
Have you been swallowed?
No, just barely escaped from that myself.
Someday I'll be able to turn into a swallow.
He takes his hat off momentarily and places it over his heart. Oh, I did lose many a good enemy on that vessel. And then puts it
Wait.
back on.
So, how was it that the sea monster swallowed your enemy's vessel and not yours? Did you bribe it? Did you cajole it? Did you
I'm going to assume that you
persuade
haven't met any sea monsters before.
Just
one?
Sturmgrammy.
But that was
But that was a lake monster.
monster.
Yeah, it was freshwater.
Well,
Dasani, but fresh.
unfortunately for most of us, sea monsters are not the type that can be easily bribed, if bribed at all. But I've found if you can't bribe someone, doesn't necessarily mean they don't have a price.
The Baxi God.
Well, the visit is early today.
Some might want a can of tuna fish.
That's a bribe.
Others might want some incredibly rare blood from another deep sea creature.
That's also a
Just think
bribe.
enough things that I want.
Yeah, wait. How is
Oh.
giving something what it wants
Nice.
not a bribe?
Are you a giant sea creature
Oh.
monster?
They aren't consciously
Yes, well,
accepting
Seth,
it, they're
I am.
simply chasing
Ah.
after it.
That explains many things.
And if it happens to get confused between a deep ocean-dwelling whale and a vessel near the surface, well, that is an unfortunate circumstance.
So, will you somehow keep us from being swallowed on our journey? Having
Oh.
paid very good gold, we do not want to be consumed.
It was mostly platinum.
Well, there's always that
that's
danger,
true.
but we do give the ship a good scrubbing down before we leave port. We don't want to make sure we fall prey to our own tricks, of course.
Are we there yet?
Feeling about this.
Let's see who rules for the day. We're not using a D4 this week. I
Lurching
had
on
a
the
good
cart.
brain moment and realized that a D6 divides much better into 3.
Which is why we're using a D8.
So the number that came up is 4. Greg has been assigned the
me.
numbers 3 and 4 this week. So go ahead and roll percentile die, and let's see what happens today.
That is a 23.
Oh, very good.
Is it?
It is.
As you traveled on the road, making cheerful small talk with your pirate friends. Oh yes, please do. Why not?
We're in a cart.
Of course.
Bumpy road.
You come across another traveler going the same direction as you all, who appears to be a bit of a musical sort.
I don't like him.
He's walking along the side, looks to be perhaps a bit worse for wear. His clothes are rather tattered, and he carries a small sack on his back and a lute in his hands as he strums along, humming a little song to himself.
Is it a good song?
Yeah, actually, you find it quite enjoyable.
You bard!
Is it a public domain song?
Since we're not actually, well, I don't know, Nines might play something, but I don't have a lute or a guitar to play with here, so we will not be playing any music. I'm sorry. Yes?
Anyway, I was
Who are
shouting
you?
at him.
Yeah.
What do you think of the voice?
I think he's an overrated hack.
That was not the answer I was expecting. I was hoping to abandon you.
Oh, well, I think the voice quite sucks, actually. He, well, stole my girlfriend and embarrassed me in front of a large public audience, so I rather hate him.
I have instant connection with the stranger.
Maybe he has a concertina you can buy.
Yes, I need one for pirate stuff.
I thought you were going to say for concertina stuff.
For personal reasons.
You who are driving the wagon, could you please slow down so we can converse with this bard?
Sure. Is that all right with you, Captain? If our travelers want to slow down, they may. And she slows the cart down.
You, who are a ragged bard,
Yes?
where are you heading?
Also, what's your name?
Oh,
And your tragic backstory. Although we already have heard part
I
of it.
believe you just heard my
Yeah.
tragic backstory, actually.
Yes.
You could write a
Most
country
people
song
don't actually
about
have
that.
one.
A country song.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that genre.
We are out in the country. Whatever you play will be a country song.
Your name and where you're going, or your life. Just
Oh, well, my name's Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Well, my last name is Tomas.
Tomas?
Yes. It's said Thomas by some, but the family always said Tomas.
I look at his
And
feet.
as for where they have some, moderately well-made boots on.
Not mossy though.
They're not mossy. And as for where I'm heading, I'm currently just the next town up.
If we give you a ride, will you teach our bard how to play better?
I resent that remark.
You should.
Looking between Ulsath and Nines, which one of you is the bard?
Did you lose your glasses?
What?
I'm asking if this bard lost his glasses. You clearly don't know how to play an instrument.
I am not one to judge, but I would venture a guess at this point that you, indeed, are the bard. Is that correct? Gesturing to Nines.
Yes, I'm best bard.
Well,
That's what I tell everybody.
I'm sure that there's little more that I could teach him on how to be a better bard, but I'd be more than happy to play a bit of a tune while we travel if you'd like.
Nines, would you care to play a duet?
No, I'm just gonna watch him. If it's a good stuff, I will steal it.
You know, a duet's one letter away from a duel.
I don't think we'll fight. Today.
Dueling loose.
Yeah, now that's a good question. They always have, dueling pianos, dueling guitars. Why don't they call that a duelette?
I don't
Next
know.
time
Like, I'm not joking here. You have a duet where you're playing together. Why don't you call it a duelette? That's brilliant. I've never heard anyone use that.
Well, perhaps we can do that today.
That's a real shame. Get on it, music people.
Shall we give this traveling ragged bard a ride?
Let me look him up and down and gauge if he's actually an assassin.
Okay, go ahead and I guess you're making an insight check. Is that what you're hoping to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Guidance.
All right.
19.
Lots of murder hobos in this area.
You look him up and down. You see that he has a short sword, not at all concealed, hanging off of his belt. A small traveling pack, which seems to contain little more than a bedroll, maybe a small pillow, and then a sheet, and that's about it.
Hop
We
on
can
in.
easily take him if he turns out to be evil.
Yeah, hop in, Johnny T.
Johnny T. Oh, that's a new one. I've never been called that before. Maybe I'll take that for my stage name, if you wouldn't mind.
I get royalties.
Well, if I happen to be a success, I'm more than happy to share the wealth with you.
I'm becoming a manager.
How come you can think of name for guy you just met, but not game for group?
I don't know.
She's leaving the door open for the audience to
Yeah.
provide a name rather than closing the door by coming up with something brilliant.
You miss a golden opportunity for Johnny T to hand her a coffee mug.
I mean, you guys haven't picked the winner yet, so.
We're not going to
So-
bother asking the pirates if this bard can ride in their wagon, are we?
We paid them.
That's right. We pretty much
our-
own this.
Johnny T.
It's our pirate Uber.
Exactly. Johnny T.
Uber.
Well, we're on our way to this next unnamed town. Why don't you tell us all about how you know the voice and how the voice stole your girlfriend and your dog and your pickup truck?
And went to prison.
I think you may have elaborated a bit on my own story. I never had a dog and don't know what a pickup truck is.
Have you been to prison?
No, I can't say as I have, fortunately.
Because Nines here was in a band with the voice.
He sucked.
Before he was cool.
Wow. You were in a band with him. What was he like back then?
He was a dick. He
No,
was
that-
always a dick.
That does seem... Yeah, that does seem to check out, actually. It's not a very long story. He came to town. He needed some people to perform with him on stage. A common thing that happens with larger traveling acts. They may take on a local musician or two if they have an absence. And he asked me to perform. Well, I invited my girlfriend at the time to the show. He proceeded to woo her, and then she went traveling with him. And he left me behind.
What was her name?
Her name was Evelyn.
Evelyn the Wood?
No. Well, Evelyn Mainsfield.
So, are you all
He
now...
just stole from me. He never kidnapped anyone under my watch.
Well, she went voluntarily, so I cannot honestly say that she was kidnapped.
But what if he did kidnap her?
But then I would pursue him to the full extent of the law, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Well, if we find out he actually kidnapped her, we'll let you know.
Have you ever considered breaking the law?
Well, I suppose I've probably taken a few more pieces off of a sample tray than you're intended to, but I'm not much of a rule breaker.
I stole a whole pie.
It was very impressive.
It is now 5 years old. 5 days old.
5 years.
Stealing a pie? My, that does sound like a big boy crime.
Yes, I am big boy crime.
It's definitely the worst crime ever committed by anyone in this card.
Well, it's good to know. Out of curiosity, as the DM, are you guys resuming travel?
I assume
Oh, not
you
only
are.
that, but we've asked the pirates to pick up the pace, normal pace, because they had slowed down, so that we could talk to the bard. But
You're very thorough.
Of course.
so,
They resume travel then.
yes,
And your new traveling mate is riding along.
I'm just gonna glare at him for a while.
If you don't mind, I wouldn't mind an opportunity to spend a moment or two tuning my lute. Is that fine? And if you don't like, I can even play a little song for you as a small bit of thanks.
That would be good. No
I
one
have to
ever.
finally get some music around here.
Yeah, no one ever plays music, so that's nice.
Would you care to join me at all? Gesturing towards Nines
Oh,
now.
I'm just watching for now.
Oh, well, all right.
I'll give you guidance though.
Very good. He has
Get
guidance.
some bardic inspiration for this.
With this particular one, no, because this is the event, and this does not give you bardic inspiration. Plus, that would only last 10 minutes. It wouldn't do you a whole lot of good.
What do you look too good on the next insight check?
I am also gonna bend the rules a little bit on this. So, as you travel down the road, he tunes up his lute and plays a lovely little melody. It's simple and sweet and cheerful, and it seems to almost be never ending. He continues to play, toying around with the same melody for several hours on end.
it goes on and on, my friend,
Some people started playing it
not knowing what it was, and then they keep on playing it
forever.
Just because.
just because it is the song.
Moving on.
I mean, no, please keep going. We
Now it ended.
Yeah, we got to the
This
town.
song never ends.
Finished it.
Oh, it's over.
towards the...
See, my parents loved it when we started singing that all the way to Toronto. So imagine about 3 children singing that for about 3 hours.
Did,
Well, Ben,
did you guys
since the show lasts
actually
about
do
3
that?
hours and there's 3 of us,
Yes,
we could replicate that experience. Did you do it in rounds, or did you just sing a harmony?
No, we were just children, so it sounded awful.
So you and your 2 sisters just sang "This Is the Song That Never Ends" for 3 hours. Well,
Maybe that was exaggeration, but it was a very long time on a very long trip. I can't remember if we got to the destination first or if my parents just got sick of it.
Since he's sitting right in front of it, I'm just going to switch over to the group map here and just give you that wonderful shot. There you go.
Frame.
Everyone can enjoy a little shot of the Tabaxi God. Say hi, Tesla. This is your big moment.
Back over the camera.
Come on, I'll make a space for you. There you go.
And he just wants to lay on his
Little
sound baffling mat over there.
Or not.
Or is he gonna sit? He's gonna sit down on the battle mat.
Sit on the battle map. All right.
All right.
This is gonna be an awkward encounter.
Well, we've spent a bit of time away from home this week. The first time in like almost like a year and a half now. We haven't really left the house. We've spent a little time away from home, and all of our animals have missed us greatly. So that's why the Tabaxi God is spending more time looking smug as hell right now.
He's taking up every camera, too. That's impressive.
Like he's on every camera. Well, you know, who on the internet doesn't love a little kitty diversion? So, you arrive at the next town, and Jonathan says, "No, this is my stop. You can just let me off here. I'm gonna see if I have any luck at the tavern. So, thank you all, and I bid you farewell. Perhaps we'll run into each other again someday."
Don't kill anyone.
Unless it's the voice, you can kill him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not much for violence. I will defend myself, but I try not to start any disagreements.
I can give you this dagger to stab him.
I'll pass, thank you.
Do you have a concertina?
I do not have a concertina.
Do you know where we can get one?
I would think that Nordfeld perhaps has the best selection of concertinas. It's native to there.
We should turn around.
Turn around and travel for 4 days.
Double our trip. Double our trip.
So, what does this town look like?
Also, did I learn that song that never ends?
Yeah. Well, there's not so much a song in the real lore here. It's mostly just a pleasant little melody that you could replicate easy enough and play around on as much as you like.
You who are our captain, how about that?
Yes.
You will be very thrilled to know that the bard that traveled with us has taught us a song that we can sing for the entire journey on your ship.
And I'm 87% sure he wasn't an assassin.
Well, that's marvelous on all counts. I do grow tired of having the same shanties over and over and over again. But as the case goes with sailors, they're often too drunk to forget that they just sang that 5 minutes ago.
Well, this song is in fact over and over and over again.
Well, excellent. It'll be just like all the other songs, yet slightly different. So it'll be refreshing.
Aha. I'm glad that you are appreciative.
Did you still want to know anything about the town?
Yes, what is the town like?
There's nothing particularly remarkable about it. There's a smattering of homes. Most of them have some sort of chimney with smoke coming up out of it. There seems to be a small church and a small tavern just on the main road. People are moving about, and from a quick glance, it looks like they might do quite a bit of wheat farming, and you see some marsh oxes moving around, so there might be some sort of ranching going on there as well.
Do you want to look, you want to buy some meat for your stews?
No, we're on the road.
Okay. Is there a bakery?
Yeah, we're running low on bread.
From a distance, you don't see anything that says, baker, bakery, or patisserie anywhere there.
We look for a sign that's been vandalized.
You don't see any vandalized signs. In fairness, it's a fairly safe bet to guess that there's probably a baker in town, as I can't think of a situation where there aren't bakers.
So we'll just ride through town and be like, where's the bread? Hey, where's the bread?
Well,
where's the bread?
Looking for bread.
it's just down the road.
Thanks.
Thank you, bread master.
I'm more of a bread lord.
A bread directorator. So is it down the road in the direction we're going, or is it off to one of the sides?
I mean, the town's set back a little ways from the road.
Oh, okay.
It's not like you're driving your cart
It's not
right
a
through
main
the road.
street through the town. Huh?
The main route of travel
main
does not
road is-
cut directly through town.
Yeah, sort of bypasses the town, so this is going to be a dying town because the road doesn't go through it.
I mean, maybe it's only like 100 yards off the road.
Is this a one-horse town?
No, there's several horses.
And we brought 2 in.
So there's 2 more now.
Did we double the number of horses?
No. No, there's a fair number of horses around.
Do you want to stop at the bakery?
We should grab some more bread, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You who are driving the cart,
Yes.
could you please make a turn here on this road so that we may buy something at the bakery?
Of course I can.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything else that you need while you're here?
Do you know this town?
Rope.
I cannot say I've stopped here before.
No, let us just go to the bakery.
Yeah.
All right. You swing by the baker. There's not a whole lot here. Mostly he's just churning out loaves of bread, but there's a couple of there's a few rolls left and a couple baguettes. There's like 3 things. There's basically loaves of bread, some longer baguettes, and some rolls.
There's
Does he have like a little exclamation point over his head signifying a side quest?
No, he doesn't.
Do I see anyone with that?
No, you don't.
Might not be a thing in this world.
Still out.
We
The
got
jury's still out on it.
we did get slightly off topic, so before I forget, I want to bring this back. That bard, and here's where I said a little while ago that I'm bending the rules a bit. But this is a little bit of a special event, and you all gain 1d8 temporary hit points.
Ooh.
And go ahead, I'm going to have you roll the d8s. And normally the temporary hit points wouldn't stick around this long, but I'm going to allow them to stick around until you arrive at your destination.
Well, I got 1.
You mean Stilbourgh?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a long time.
That's why I said I'm bending the rules, because there are on my table a couple of special bardic events, and you rolled one.
So this was like bardic inspiration, but it lasts longer and is more powerful.
Well, it's just temporary hit points.
It's just
yeah.
temporary hit points,
but-
so whatever you rolled on the d8, you have that in temporary hit points.
Wow, why can't you do that, Nines?
I don't care if you live or die.
Oh, yeah, that checks out.
I do
There's
not care for liver, and I do
Probably
not
be
think I
sad
would
for a
like
little
liver
bit,
die.
maybe.
having triggered one of the random bard events, I may now ask you to re-roll certain numbers if they land in the part of the table where the bard events happen, because they can only happen once every so often.
There's only so many bards in the world.
Just
So
wanted to
is
let
this
you all know there are the table shifts and adjusts as you roll with it.
Let's get a couple loaves of bread and some baguettes.
Okay.
And a tragic backstory.
And we should warn him about the ne'er-do-well bard who just set up shop in the middle of his town.
It was a magic bard.
Yeah.
this nice bard that you meet and gives you temporary hit points. You're like, hey, there's this shady guy over there. He's gonna steal stuff from you.
No.
We come back and he's just like running away, and Sawyer's gonna be like, no, we were talking about this bard. It's Tabaxi here.
He steals pies.
Do you want to order the bread?
No, you can't.
You who are the baker.
Hey, what do you need?
Yes, we would like to buy some of your bread and baguettes.
Right. How much you want?
3 loaves of bread and 2 baguettes, please.
Right.
We have our own bag.
He piles it up on the counter.
How much will that be?
4 copper.
Okay. I give him 4 copper plus 1. 5.
4 copper plus 1. That's a good name for a group.
It is not too bad.
I like how it also has nothing to do with any part of your group other than just being a play on 9s plus 1.
And it is something we said.
4 copper plus 1.
Whoa, wait.
I didn't go into that bakery, but I'm very angry.
So these are like 1 copper a loaf, right?
Yeah.
So you should call your place the Penny Loafer.
What's the penny?
Done, your name.
It's a type of shoe, a penny loafer.
A penny is a copper coin in some parts.
Anything else you want?
Very cultured of you, Ulsef.
What's your view on The Voice?
What?
The singer of The Voice?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. You can live. Let's go.
All right. So you guys hit the road again? Now,
Do we have to hit it?
Is this like
Do I roll an attack?
No Country for Old Men, where
just
they have to
roll on
pass a
it.
test, and if the coin comes up heads, they live. If it comes up tails,
Yeah, it's
they
like
die.
Two-Face.
hey, it's your campaign. If you want to be murder hobos, go right ahead.
Oh. All
I'd
right.
rather just steal more pies.
There are no pies. Let's get back on the wagons and
There's no
proceed.
pies, only lies in this town.
All right. You've now stocked up on provisions. Head back on the road. You still have a ways to go before night hits. You got to this town maybe an hour or 2 after midday. So you travel quite a bit further down the road, and now it's getting dark. Do you want to just pull off to the side, or you want to try to look for someplace good?
I'll look for someplace good.
Okay.
Guidance. 15.
All right. You managed to find a quiet little divot behind
I found a divot.
behind a hill. So it dips down in front of the hill,
I did not bring my clubs.
and it would hide you from, the casual glance of a traveler. There's not a lot of cover in this part. You're in a fairly meadowy sort of area, but this'll do. You bed down for the evening.
I'll make some dinner.
I'll set up my screamy stick.
We have fresh bread.
We have fresh bread, and
Baguettes.
we'll make some. I'll use the baguettes first, so I'll make some nice soup so we can dip that in. But then after I'm done, I'm gonna take some of those fresh berries while they're still fresh that I found, and some of the flour that I got from the temple, and I'll use like the Dutch oven part of my cook's utensils to make a berry pie for 9s.
Oh, all right. Go
I
ahead
need to steal
and-
that.
Go ahead and make a wisdom check.
Wisdom?
Yeah.
Can I guidance myself since it's a stat check?
Yeah, you can.
19.
It's a pretty darn good pie.
9s, you're not allowed to have any. Wink. And then I look at
Yeah,
Elsa
tits.
while I'm holding the pie.
Perhaps you should just set it down on the log.
Sleight of hand check.
Just set it down gently on the log
Guys are ridiculous.
while I look at Ulsa.
Okay,
I
roll
give
that.
you guidance.
I already rolled.
Oh.
I got a 15 sleight of hand check.
I definitely would see that with my passive perception.
Yeah. So, I mean, you see it. You can do with it what you want.
Oh no, where did my pie go?
I don't know.
Ah! I have stolen your pie. This did not
Nines!
feel big boy though.
You are becoming quite an accomplished pie thief.
Are you a... Oh, wait, is an ocarina count for being a pied piper?
It does now.
I disagree with this.
No.
I'm just gonna eat my pie now.
Okay.
Now he is pied.
All right. Let's see who's gonna roll. Nines. It's your turn. Go ahead and roll percentile dice.
Guidance.
That's 27 plus.
That is not how this works, but with the 27,
Maybe you could
find
take that up in
another
your
bard.
DM show about how guidance doesn't work when you're rolling for
Percentile.
die.
so you bed down for the evening, and the night's a little colder, and you don't get the greatest sleep in the world, but you do sleep through the night undisturbed,
That's good.
and you awake the next morning.
It was a bit chilly last night, even for me.
It is now day 6.
Oh, we didn't do it. Oh well.
We were exhausted from our trip to the bread factory.
Yeah, we didn't do our training.
Oh yeah, we forgot. Wow.
All of us.
Wow.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
Wow.
I hope we remember things today.
Wow.
Maybe a 27 was a forgetfulness spell settled over us.
It was a mist of forgetfulness.
Forgiveness.
Forgive.
Nines, I forgive you for stealing the pie.
What pie?
Exactly.
Yes.
So,
I'll make a nice breakfast and then we can head out.
okay. Everyone has a nice full tummy, and it's pretty tasty.
I'll use some garlic and some butter and fry some of the bread to make like sort of a Texas toast sort of thing.
That's kind of good. That would
What's
be fun.
Texas?
It's
a kind of
part
toast.
Yeah, it's a type of toast.
Well, I hope it's baked toast then.
I got nothing on this.
We're on the cart.
Ever make garlic bread out of an entire loaf of bread, and they call it Alaskan bread?
No.
Because it's so much bigger.
We're on the cart.
This show's about 20% D&D, 80% food.
Uh-huh.
Why aren't we on the Food Network? I guess is my question, because that's where we should
At least
be.
15% bad math.
Yeah.
It was
It's
at times
80%
45, 50%
20% D&D, 15% bad math.
Put
and
that on.
70% shopping.
Yeah.
And 27%
Shopping for food.
bouncing in a cart. And
13% dumb gags.
are we there yet?
For a target audience of under 7 and over 70.
Yep.
Let's see who's gonna make the roll today for the
Not
travel.
me.
And in our description, I think we should start doing that.
What? In the description?
Yeah, for 4 people under 7 over 70.
Yeah. Was it Wong?
It is. It is 9s
Yeah,
again.
wrong.
9s. Percentile die.
71.
Wow.
71.
It's not in the 20s. That's all we
Yes,
roll.
it's a bigger number. Bigger numbers are always better.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless it's a damage roll and you're receiving it.
The only time.
Only time.
As you travel down the road further still, you enter a much more wooded area than you have been. It seems that the forests of the Fervent Wilds in northern Glindreng have crept further down to this area, and the farmers aren't working through here. So you are perhaps farther away from other towns than you have been before.
It is very wooded here. And I see no towns. I'm glad we bought bread at the last one.
As you continue through the woods,
I'll keep a keen eye out.
the light becomes darker, but not dark, just more dim, as the trees grow thicker and the foliage thicker. So, when you have been traveling through these woods for a couple of hours, there is an old-looking man who's wearing robes and has a long, gnarled walking stick.
It's a candle.
And he's tending a fire.
In the middle of the road, or just?
No, just off the side.
Okay.
Tending a fire, sitting on a stump, and his little tent set up, and a cat that's bouncing around this impromptu camp of his.
I stare intently at that cat.
The cat doesn't really react to the intense stares that you are throwing at it. It just cleans itself a bit.
Hello?
Cleaning contest, is it?
Guests have I?
You who are driving the wagon, please stop so we may converse with this
Mysterious stranger.
mysterious stranger tending a fire.
Are we going to stop this moving charade? They're for every single person that we come across.
Yes.
Yes.
Specifically, every event
Good
we
to
come
note.
across.
In fact, you may take that as sort of a standing request, and when we come across people, then we do not have to remember to ask you to slow down or stop. We'll
Random.
just do so.
Random mysterious stranger, may I ask your name?
I have no name.
No name.
That's terrible group name.
Do you want the name?
I have no need for names.
No,
You sort of
We could
sway
call you
back and
Cats have
forth.
name?
we could call you Saltworthy.
You can call me many things, but I shall respond to none.
You who are none.
Did he respond?
No.
Oh.
He did lie to us.
yeah.
He said he would respond to none, and
Do
he
you
did
like
not respond
Texas toast?
Pray tell,
I like
what is
the
this
cats.
toast? What are you casting?
Can I cast? I'm casting Speak with Animal,
Okay, sure.
and I'm going to look at the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Cat, what is this guy's name?
I don't know.
What's your name?
The cat?
That's a terrible name. You're Phil now.
Wait.
No. Okay.
Let's get this Phil. I can do that too.
So, do you just sit by the side of the road, mysterious stranger?
Among all the things I do, that is what I do the most. Sit by the side of the road. Sit by the side of many roads, I do. Sit by the side of your roads. Sit by the side of their roads. Sit by the sides of the water roads. Observing all the time.
What are you observing?
Oh, all of you? Of course. It's far more interesting to be on the outside than on the in.
On the outside of what?
Life, the stories you weave. It's far more entertaining to observe from a distance.
I have a question. What do you think, Captain de Fervin?
The Mysteries of Fervin. I tried to watch that one, but my sight was blurred for a time. I'm not sure what happened with Mr. Fervin and his wild experiments, but...
Oh, do you know someone who might know?
Oh, there are few that would know the answer to that. But you may run into them someday.
Was this foreshadowing?
Perhaps it is, perhaps it's not. Through the roll of a die, you may have found yourself here. But don't look at me and feel so queer.
Can I have your staff?
You would like my staff? It is merely a walking cane.
It looks nice.
Well, here, you can have it.
Thanks.
And he pulls another one out of his robe without seeming to have the physical space to do that.
Use detect magic.
But first, I'm going to ask a question, you who are standing by the side of the road.
Yes.
You say that you watch this road and that road and this road and that road. Do you watch all of these roads at the same time, or you travel from one road to the next road?
You see, the time is a bit of a funny thing. You're not sure if it's coming or going or passing or flowing, but you find yourself wading in the current regardless. So you could say I'm here, you could say I'm there. I'm anywhere you want me to be, and nowhere at all, for I wouldn't want to be an inconvenience on you all.
I cast detect magic.
I want to look at the exact wording of this spell to see if you detect anything. So give me just a second.
So that's a yes.
I'm not trying to obfuscate that something slightly odd is happening here, but I want to see if this is within the spell's ability to detect.
Do I get to add a quarterstaff to my backpack? Lexi?
Yeah. And
Sorry, I get so much free stuff.
although you can
Free
feel free to use
quarterstaff,
quarterstaff
free
as
spear.
simply the item, it is a very hard, gnarled quarterstaff. Then, yes, you detect magic,
I should be able to tell
But-
what kind it is.
you do not have any idea what school of magic this is.
So it's none of the schools I know.
By default, the rule says that it will tell you what school of magic it is from.
Mm-hmm.
And you get no idea what school of magic this is from.
Is my stick magic?
No, your stick is not magic.
While they're having this conversation, can I just play with the cat? Like, play with his feet?
Sure, the cat seems to enjoy a little extra attention.
Do you like jelly?
From time to time, I suppose. I like jelly.
This is magic fey jelly.
Oh, I had some of that last week.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna get in on
do
this
you-
cat action and turn into a cat that looks just like his cat. And play as well.
You're one of those changelings, aren't you?
I thought you were keeping that secret.
I used my wild shape. No, I turned into like the cat.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I will meow. How do you know?
Oh, well, I can see the fluctuations within the universe as you change your form.
Meow, 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 meow. I'll ask. Can you tell me the location of Anrissa?
Anrissa. That is something that you'll have to uncover for yourself. It's not exactly what I'd call a plan, but definitely entertainment.
useful information can you tell us?
Well, let's see what happens. For you have found me here, and pray do not leer, but lend me your ear and come now near.
I'll hop in his lap.
He pets you a little bit.
I don't jump in his lap.
And though I appear to have little to offer, I still have desire to offer this proffer. For you all are forging a path, oh, so dreary, so I shall intercede to make your minds less weary. Answer my riddles with wit, and I shall reward you with something befit. Beware, however, the response all wrong, for I give lessons that last just as long.
Meow.
There is a good deal of rhyming going on here.
Meow. I agree. Nines can
It's
hear that. I
rehearsed.
agree.
My favorite color is blue.
As is mine. And purple, and green, and violet, and pink, lavender. Oh, chartreuse. Well, I suppose all the colors are my favorite. Especially the ones you can't see. But that is not the question at hand. As he speaks, the rest of the forest has now disappeared into nothingness. Only the small circle around 20 feet around you is still visible. There's just simply nothing beyond.
What did you do to our pirate?
Oh, they're there too.
Oh, they're within
They're
the circle.
observing.
Okay.
And then suddenly he's not there. But you don't remember him going away. You don't drop. You're
okay.
simply on the ground.
Oh, okay.
And from all around you, you hear his voice. I have no tail. Sorry, I have a tail, but no body.
Which is it?
I have a head, but no brain. Pray tell.
Swear to God, sorry, if you
What
say
am I?
nines.
A tail with no. What?
I have a tail, but no body. I have a head, but no brain.
Meow, meow, meow. It's
Pray
like a
tell,
coin.
what am I? There's no need to whisper.
Meow, meow, meow. What about a coin? Heads or tails?
It could be either one. Yes, I
Either
agree
coin.
with you.
Meow, meow, meow. What do you think, Nines?
I'm still playing with the cat. Wait, is the cat still there?
There are two cats.
Yeah, the cat is still there, actually.
Meow,
I'm
meow,
playing
meow,
with the
meow,
cat.
meow. Is it a coin?
Oh, I do enjoy when you get it right. And you
It could
all
also have been a comet.
feel a sudden weight. A significant weight. And then a bit of bulging coming from your backpacks. And you don't quite understand how or when, but the stump is gone, so is the fire, the cat, everything that you've seen, and the forest is now back the way it was.
I have one last question.
There is no response.
What are these runes?
Who is Ramardan? Okay, we have bulgy backpacks.
Let's look in our bulgy backpacks. I bet it's snakes.
Each of you finds 500 gold pieces in your backpacks.
Do our pirate friends also?
They didn't answer no damn riddle.
No.
If they did, they're being coy about it.
Did you get 500 gold from the shifting god?
I'm entirely sure. But if I did, it would be a good day.
Inside check.
ahead.
Guidance. 25.
You can't really read anything off of him.
Wow. That's
You,
so coy.
he either has really no idea or no care if there's 500 gold additional in his pockets or not.
Well, since I have them out, because I was going to ask, do any of you want to see a rune that will hurt you horribly?
I made a rule a long time ago. Never look at anything that hurts you, especially runes. It's a dangerous business to get in.
I have a question.
He seems to be familiar
What prompted
with
you
runes.
to create that rule?
I forgot I was a cat. I'm not a cat anymore.
What prompted me to create the rule about looking at dangerous things? Mostly outlawed propaganda.
What outlawed propaganda?
Not all parts of the world are quite as stable as it is here in Glindreng. There are often political parties waging war for public opinion all over the place.
Like where?
So, well, in certain parts of the Free States, certainly in the Bandit Isles, they're not, although the name implies they work together, cooperation is hardly their forte.
And did you read this and where you're from?
Did I read what?
The propaganda.
Oh, again, it goes against my core principle of never telling you anything that could reveal who I really am.
Huh.
But you can keep trying.
I will.
I never doubt it.
Oh,
I'm gonna... Next time we go to bed, I'm just gonna see if his name's on his underwear.
You guys have managed to trigger 2 tables that are limited in occurrence now in one session.
I really should have asked him about those
all
runes.
thanks to
We should have
Nines.
asked him about a lot of things before he disappeared.
But
But we didn't, so
But we made some money.
we did.
Well,
That was a good encounter.
maybe you guys
We get back on the wagon and say,
making a little note.
proceed.
Just making a note to myself.
Uh-oh.
Never good.
There are also events that can only happen once ever. That was one of them.
Wow.
We really should have asked him about some stuff.
We really should have, yeah.
And
I'm not too worried. I mean, clearly time isn't a thing for this, so there's a good chance it'll happen again.
All right. Well,
So I have to remove it from the table and replace it with another thing after the session.
can I want to try making myself look like him.
You find that you're unable to. You can't quite recall what he looks like.
Should have wrote that down, Soria.
Every time you try, it's almost as though the image is shifting, escaping you. Like a word that's on the tip of your tongue, except it's an image slipping just out of sight.
Wow.
So you travel the rest of the day. And by the time that darkness is falling, it is indeed quite dark, and you have not yet left the forest.
You want me to look for a campsite?
You are very good at finding campsites.
All right. Guidance. Ooh, that's not bad. 29.
The thickness of the trees and the general lack of travel on this road, you notice that the tracks are not quite as well worn as they had been before. Gives you a very easy time hiding. And you pull yourself off into a spot where once you're about 150 or so feet back from the road, it would be almost impossible to see where you are, because all the trees in between are so thick. And as long as you aren't lighting a fire, no one should be able to notice you.
Fireless frying pan night.
It is good that you have that. Well, shall we do the evening
much, yeah.
routine? Set up Screamy Stick, have really excellent dinner, thank you very much.
She hasn't even made it yet.
I'll make pancakes with berries
Okay.
and honey
And mead.
and jelly.
Nines. Would it be possible for us all to share in your mead again tonight?
No, only 4 of us can share in the mead tonight.
Okay, we will 3 of us have mead, and you may choose what to do with this 4th glass of mead. Perhaps just consume it yourself.
Does that sound like a good idea? Just get drunk tonight.
I'll give my mug to Safine.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Just help remind me to help me help me with lockpicking tonight.
Of course.
Okay, yes, so I do fervent magic.
Actually, do you 2 know the
fervent
captain's
tech.
actual name?
No,
I asked them that.
no, we did not. That is correct. We have no idea what the captain's name is.
He said it was Captain. How about that?
I don't believe that's his name, but you may be correct for all I know.
I practiced my fervent tech.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. 19.
Go ahead with your
Lockpicking
lock picking.
twice.
Yes, you're being assisted here.
67. 64.
Nines, are you also joining in your zither practicing?
Absolutely.
I think I have here correctly that you had a 1?
Yes.
Yes.
I got a 1 last time,
Yeah.
which means I mastered the instrument. That's how that
Yeah,
works.
critical
how that works.
success.
This time I rolled a little bit better and got an 87.
An 87.
Just a little.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
For anyone who hasn't seen that before, the players have an opportunity each night in our campaign to make a little progress on mastering a new skill. I have them roll a percentile die, and they make some progress. How long it takes? Well, only I know that.
We
So-
all master it tomorrow.
That wraps up the day, and let's see who's going to roll
Still not.
for the night. Well, it's heavily favoring 9s today.
Wow.
Of course.
You are determining our fate, Nines.
Roll for another god event. So I can ask about these runes.
That is a 39.
It's a fairly nice night out. The air is a bit still this deep into the forest, but you sleep through the night without being bothered. And you wake up the next morning.
Thank you for the
The spell
uneventful and restful sleeping.
Nines
That was
was
all me.
It was the mead, perhaps, yes.
Yes, we just slept through all the attacks.
Okay.
Are the pirates still alive?
Yep, everyone's still here.
and I'll make breakfast for everyone.
All right.
We enjoy breakfast, and I guess we're on our way. There we go.
You head out, continuing
We haven't been
continuing down the
attacked
road.
lately. It's been
No,
weird.
it's been very quiet.
This is now the 7th day, or the 8th day. You've completed 7. This is the 8th day of roughly 12 days of travel. So, you're getting closer now.
We are closer now than when we began.
I would hope so.
I don't know. That,
I suppose that is a bit of an
weird
inane
guy
statement
said
to just say
that
you're getting
time
closer,
is,
you're traveling
like,
there.
all
Oh,
over
sure.
the place.
That is true. He did say that. Perhaps now we are further than when we
Yeah,
started.
that magic hobo.
This time, well, Seth, you're going to roll.
Okay.
I don't think it's come up Soria once today. Oh, we've had
Not coming up, sorry.
That is a 68.
a 68.
So close.
So close.
So close.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Perception.
I don't know. He's rolling it.
No.
So I can't give you guidance.
Oh, that's not too bad. It'll be 3 plus something.
It'll be
Bare
three-
minimum of 4.
Oh, no. It's 14 plus 3, 17.
You're
It
looking
was in double
around
digits. That was a
as
surprise.
you trundle down the road, bouncing gently over some of the roots, swaying from side to side.
I am checking around as we are bouncing.
You hit a large bump. I can't believe I
That was a
hadn't
large
done this
bump.
yet. I should have done this already. What?
I have been watching very carefully. I did not see that bump.
My back hurts.
But you look out, and down the road, a little ways in front of you, you see.
Is that
I mean, the front can be wherever.
Who's front?
You see a large magic rune in the ground,
Does it hurt?
Not this again.
and
To look at.
it does not hurt to look at. No.
Oh, good.
No.
Man, I should just carve those runes all up.
You who are
That's pretty
driving,
evil.
please halt.
Safine pulls up the reins, and the horses whinny a little bit, and you come to a stop.
I do not know if you had noticed, but there is a large rune in the road.
Again?
And it doesn't hurt to look at.
Yes, it does not hurt to look at. That
If I'm
is
not
good.
mistaken, the last time something like this happened, you were also the one to spot it.
Is it another one of those big lightning runes that have hobgoblins?
This is the same rune.
It looks very similar.
Wow, we rolled a 68 before, huh?
I think I might have.
The table has limitations, folks.
All right.
So, I am noticing this rune in the road, and if I recall correctly, and sometimes I do, it is the same rune that shot lightning into the air and brought forth hobgoblins. I would suggest this time, after we bypass it, that we do not chuck rocks into it.
Olsef, don't you think it would be really weird if the exact same thing happened?
Yeah, the
a
last time
different
we
day?
did that, I got a free spear.
She got a free spear.
Look at it. It's so cool.
Oh, do you think perhaps we should just drive over it this time?
No,
Should I chuck a rock
but I
into
am
it?
curious to see if the same thing will happen if we trigger it.
Why don't we go by it and then throw
I
rocks
do
at
not
it?
want to pay for it, no.
But let's not leave the wagon this time.
Yeah, let's just sit in the wagon and throw some rocks at it from a distance.
I'll get out of the wagon quickly, pick up a rock, get back into the wagon,
And we'll
Are
go
you,
around.
have you moved past it now?
Yeah.
them
Okay.
to drive around it,
They do so.
not stop or slow down, but as we're moving along, I'll chuck the rock into the rune.
Okay. When you're about halfway around the rune,
No, I don't chuck it until we're past the rune.
I realize that. I
We're
did
about
pay
to get
attention.
attacked.
As you're about halfway around the rune, a little hobgoblin pokes its head out from behind a tree, just off of the road, now behind you. And this hobgoblin goes, "No, come on!"
Shake the spear at him.
They're getting away! Get him! And they all start pouring out from behind the trees, all behind you. And the cart now picks up pace as you're fleeing from some hobgoblins.
I will cast Entangle on the group.
Are you still gonna throw a rock, Olsef?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. I mean, let's see what happens.
It's a strength saving throw 15.
Well,
I did this last
There's
time.
probably
Yeah,
like 23 hobgoblins. This will take
let's
a
see
while.
how many are in that
It's
spot.
a 20-foot cube.
Okay. All of them were in there. So I'm gonna do a couple rolls to see how many get caught up. What was the DC? 15?
15 strength.
15 strength. Okay.
Otherwise, they're restrained.
Wow, none of
Okay,
them got
all
caught.
but one of them manages to just run right through. You're not gonna get us this time!
Wait, that's the same one?
And then,
Two?
yeah, yeah, they're the same ones.
Maybe
Oh,
we should
they've
have.
been moving
there one
along
with
at
a-
the same pace.
And what's your AC?
14.
They throw a spear and it hits you. Dealing
Yeah!
Free spear!
Free spear!
dealing 4
Pull it
damage.
out. And
Sorry.
hold it
You.
up.
Don't pull it out of me. So I lose my temporary hit points.
Yes, you lose your temporary hit points. But you got a free spear.
I'm adding another
Free
spear.
Free spear. Free spear.
Are we past the room now?
Yeah, you go
Do
down.
you still want me to chuck the stone into the rune
Yes, I want you to throw a rock.
after we're past it?
Well, since they were there, let's see if it hits them. I have very bipolar dice today. Because all the ones that didn't get entangled were right in the middle of the rune when you threw that, and all of them are now have this tower of lightning shooting up around them, and they're all just sort of and
They should not walk in their own rune.
Maybe we should just like subdue them and make them stop doing this because it's happening a lot.
While I watch him get shocked, I'm gonna be like, neat.
Like these guys are seriously a threat on the road here.
Yes, they are. But at least they always leave a rune in the road so we know that they are there.
If we spot it. Mm-hmm. So we're
I
gonna
seem to
stop
be-
them.
I seem
Is
to
that
be
what
good
they're
at
doing?
spotting the rune.
Do we want to just keep running?
Yes.
the cart has continued to move.
Did they look like any of them died from that rune, or was it just like...
You are now out of sight. You can still see like the lightning through the trees and kind of shooting up into the sky a bit,
Alright.
but you can't see the
Perhaps it
hobgoblins.
is like a carnival ride or diversion for them.
Like attacking people and throwing spears?
No, being caught
Yes,
up in a
we're
lightning
free
storm and
smart.
flying through the air.
You won free prize. Spear.
Yeah. So just stuffing oregano in the stab wound again. Was in the same spot?
No, unless you want it to be.
I
I'm
don't.
willing to. Okay, it's not in the same spot.
How much HP did you lose?
I lost my 3 temporary hit points and 1 normal hit point.
I slap your wound with a cure wound.
That'll cover it.
No, roll for it.
I'm rolling for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heal 12 HP.
Is that the absolute maximum of that spell?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
That was an
That's
excellent use
almost
of that
all
spell.
of my actual HP.
You feel great.
Okay.
You feel super energized.
Who wants to make cannoli?
Bagels.
You travel down the road without further incident for the rest of the day, and you need to find another spot to camp for the night.
I'm on it with guidance.
Okay.
Nat 20 plus 2, so 29.
You found a really great spot to camp.
I think that's my 3rd Nat 20 looking
Yeah, it
for
is.
camps.
There's a nice little stream rolling through. And there's even kind of a little bit of a rock face that makes a shelter. Not a cave, but there's a rock overhang that makes a little natural shelter. And it's a really nice spot to camp for a night.
Is it a magic glade like the last time?
I don't.
Detect
Doesn't
magic.
seem to be.
Well, tonight I'm gonna, use some of those salted fish and some of the flour and make some fried fish for everyone.
Oh, okay. That would be really quite tasty for everyone then.
Nines, would you care to share meat again tonight?
Yes. We will drink while I go fishing. We have a fishing rod, right?
Probably.
At least one of us has one.
I think I do.
That seems like an Ulsa thing to him.
I would have thought I did, but I don't know. I don't see it now.
You're a cat, just use your claws.
All right, I'll just swipe it out of the water.
With guidance.
What do I add for that? Survival?
Yeah, sorry, I was taking a quick note for myself. Yes, survival.
That was terrible. 9.
Get
Great
over
number.
here, fish.
You catch a couple frogs?
You want me to fry up some frog legs?
Are they juicy? Do they look like pretty juicy frog legs?
Actually, from where you come from, Tabaxavoy is kind of boggy and marshy. So, yeah, you would know what a good-looking pair of frog legs would be, and these look okay.
Sorry, I cooked these up. I just throw them in the frying pan.
No, you have to prepare that.
Oh, yeah, we're throwing it in fire. Adjacent pan.
Fire adjacent
Fire
pan. I will prepare them properly.
But I like a Jason Pan. Why would we fire him?
That's what I would say. Come on, you're stealing my line.
But you didn't say it. Someone
I
had to.
didn't.
I'll prepare you some frog legs.
Thank you.
All right. They're okay. Yeah,
I put some truffle salt on them.
they're better now. I mean, you add truffle salt to almost anything to get better, right?
What?
You add truffle salt to almost anything and it gets better, right?
No,
Oh,
that's not true at all.
all right. It's a little better though with the truffle salt.
Okay.
Anyway, is anything trying to kill us?
Let's find out.
Well, no, we have to do our testing first.
Oh,
Yeah,
Our training.
practice, training.
Training.
Okay.
Good remembering.
I practiced remembering.
That was good.
Thank you.
I get to roll with two twice, right?
Yep. They're still training
Still
you.
helping. You keep feeding them.
So, since everyone rolled, let's start with Ulseth.
63.
Okay. And then, Soria?
A 21 and 93.
Ooh, dang, you've gotten 2 97s and 93. Like, you're rolling high on some of these here. 9s.
82.
You're starting to make up for some of your earlier blunders. And now, we get to see if something tries to kill you in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. And guess whose turn it finally is?
9s.
No, it's Soria's. It is Soria's
dang.
turn. Dice came up too.
20.
20. As you bed down for the evening, dreams of mediocre frog legs.
Hey, you said they were not bad.
Dreams of not bad frog legs.
Bouncing in your dreams.
Fill your sleep.
Hello, my
and
baby. Hello, my honey.
Although
Hello, my tasty
not the
frog
most
legs.
pleasant dreams you've ever had, you wake the morning feeling rested nonetheless, having slept once more through the night without having anything try to kill you.
What about the rest of us? Did we have to dream about frog legs?
Oh yes, you all did. You all
didn't
dreamt of
even
frog
eat
legs.
That's what happens when you're in a party together.
You start sharing dreams. That's how.
Or cursed.
Yeah, you curse. That's the
although-
consequence of seeing those runes. You all have the same dreams now.
Yep. And they're all, and Dole saw them too, so half the time we just get dreams about, like, I don't know, really boring, like, tables and graphs.
What
Although I do feel
would Dole
rested,
dream of?
I had
Good
the most
graphing
disturbing
calculator?
dreams about frog legs all night. Oh,
I had a great dream about frog legs.
I had a
last
pretty good
night.
dream about frog legs too. It wasn't bad. I was helping make them.
I did not eat any of the frog legs, but did
You're
dream
missing
about
out.
them.
You're missing out. They're like croissants that grow on frogs.
I make
I ignored
breakfast.
that.
All right. Let me update. That now completes your 8th day on the road.
Is the road still bumpy?
The road, as you set out, is actually a little more bumpy the deeper you get into these forests. So, swaying from side to side over the rough terrain.
The stabilizer finally broke.
You know, I can't really say that I much enjoy traveling these highways, if you can call them that. A bit bumpy, they are.
Yes, they are.
Much prefer the gentle rolling motions of the sea, as opposed to the jarring, jerking motions of traveling over land. Let's see who rolls to see if you get murdered today. Sorry again.
Swear to God, gets
No more legs of
68.
frogs.
68.
68.
Big 68. 19.
19.
Still we're near 68.
I know.
The day goes on pretty uneventfully, and night begins to approach.
Oh.
So go ahead and I'm guessing you're looking for a camp?
Yeah, I'm just surprised nothing happened. Guidance.
Go ahead and roll your survival check.
Did we go through pleasant scenery? Did we see gorgeous views? Or
It's mostly thick forest, but there's some very nice rolling hills, some brooks that you've passed. It's pretty, if perhaps not immensely varied.
30.
30.
Jeez.
Well, you find
I'm good at this.
what was the total combination there?
19 plus 4 plus 7.
Wow, you're doing really well. You find yet one more very lovely place to camp. This time you find a nice stream side like the night before, and some hard rocks next to the stream that are very clean, and there's no dirt you'll have to lay down in. You can set up your whole camp. This is quite a large rock formation that and it's generally quite flat. So it's a very nice, easy place to set up camp for the night.
I'll turn into
And-
a tabaxi and try and catch fish.
And as you
there's
do,
more.
yes, there is more. You traveled through the day without anything happening, but when you make camp for the night, and you are now attempting to get fish, you look down on the river, and you see a dull-looking brass key.
Well, I'm at tabaxi right now, so I grab it.
Okay, you can grab the key.
Does it have any markings on it?
Oh, it's got a couple of scuffs, a couple of decorative ornamentations to it that, just make it look pretty.
Whiskey, where does it go?
I don't know. I just found it in the river. Like most metal things you find in the river, I feel overwhelming possessive urge to keep it, maybe crawl under a mountain and eat raw fish.
You don't feel those things.
Oh.
Probably found it with heightened tabaxi senses.
Yeah,
I've
probably.
been rested. I'll do detect magic on the key.
See if it's a magic key.
It's not magic at all.
Captain,
Yes.
I found a key.
Oh, how lovely.
It's probably for a big treasure chest.
I found that most keys usually aren't, but one can never have a bad day by hoping the giant treasure chest is in your future.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was thinking, if there's a key in the river, I was thinking of either checking out up or down the river a little.
Yeah, I was going to do a thorough search of the area for a keyhole.
Okay. Why don't you make Since you're really doing a thorough search of the area, looking for something specific, call that investigation.
Guidance.
If I can pick up the D. Oh God, no. Well, I don't investigate very well. I investigate 7.
You feel that the idea of having a key out here to perhaps unlock something, as you're looking around, you start to think maybe this is a silly notion, and you don't investigate very hard, and you just sort of stand there looking out,
Does it look like
scanning sight lines.
Is there
You also find no keyholes.
is there any fish in the river?
Yeah, you can see fish swimming around.
I'm gonna cast Speak with Animal and see if I can yell at one of the fish.
Okay.
hey, fish?
Excuse me, fish!
That was very polite.
Do you have to stick your face in the water to do that?
No! Do you know where Key came from?
What's a key?
I hold it up.
No.
Okay. He seems
I
right.
don't think... This fish is awful. I cast Vicious Mockery on it.
Why don't you just grab him since he's stationary and we can eat it?
No, I'm gonna make fun of it until it dies.
All right. Okay, we'll mock the fish since that's how we roleplay this spell.
Fish, your grandma's so old she doesn't have lungs.
Since it's a fish, I'm guessing it probably has like 1 wisdom, which would give it, would it be negative? Is that negative 4? 1?
4 or 5, yeah.
I think negative 5 would be 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, negative 5 would be 0. So this is negative 4. Is the save on yours 14?
Yes.
Okay.
I love this fish.
It
It's
rolled
amazing.
really well on its wisdom saving throw.
I'm going to turn into a fox and venture upstream and see if this key might have, if there's anything that this key might have come from.
You can't. You venture upstream a ways and you don't see anything obvious. I'm not even gonna make you roll for this. It's just
Okay.
more stream.
All right.
Sorry, did you go streaming? Live even?
Uh-huh. I would like to sniff around in the area since I'm still a fox.
You smell many things. All of them woodsy smells that you're familiar with, although they are much more intense as a fox.
I'll turn back and go, oh, Seth,
Yes.
how thorough was your investigation of this area?
It was very brief and superficial.
I would like to investigate the area.
On a scale of like 1 to 30, where would you rate that number?
I would say on a 1 to 30 scale, it was about a 7.
I would like to investigate the area.
Go ahead.
Guidance. 15. I'm not that good at guidance.
You don't. So you're looking for anything that this key could have belonged to?
Or like where it came from.
You don't see anything in a place. I mean, everything here looks perfectly
I
normal.
guess I'll just put it in my pocket and ask everyone about
Okay.
it.
Add a
Brass key.
brass key to your inventory.
Let's go back to locksmith shop over in Nordfeld. See
Yeah,
if they know what
Security Inc. might know about this.
All right, we start going back to Nordfeld.
I mean, it's your campaign, but
No.
no.
While we are there, you could buy a concertina.
Yes, I heard they have a great concertinas.
And croissants.
Alrighty.
The two big C's.
Well, you're bedded down for the night.
right.
Nines,
We need
did
to do
you
our,
ever bother to catch that fish?
No, I was demoralized the fact that I could not insult a fish.
Urban tech learning.
Okay.
Ooh, not too bad. 83.
83. Nines, are you practicing your zither?
Of course. That's a 28.
Indeed. Sorry, are you?
Yes.
Okay.
67
Okay.
and 13.
Alrighty. You bed down for the evening. Dinner's a bit light. Some bread and cheeses.
Why is it light?
You didn't cook
I
anything.
didn't cook
Oh,
anything.
I was busy as well.
Yeah.
We were preoccupied trying to find the.
And
Yeah,
now,
busy, like
now the die is favoring Soria. So
No.
let's see if you get murdered in the middle of the night.
3.
The quandary of the key troubles all three of you while you sleep, and you find yourselves dreaming of locked doors and chests. You wonder all through the night where this mysterious key could have come from. Could it have washed down river, fallen off a errant traveler's pack? Maybe it's a key placed there by divine providence. All your time
Maybe that
sleeping
last one.
gnaws at your mind, but you wake nonetheless fully rested and have slept through the night once more. And now I will advance my day count.
Well, although I am rested again, it was a disturbed sleep. This time, instead of frog legs, it was about locks and keys and locks and keys and keys.
I dreamt about frog legs again.
You pack up the campsite,
After making breakfast.
and
Priorities.
again, my die seem to be very bipolar.
Oatmeal today.
It is now your turn to roll. for
Again?
rounds. Yes.
Actually, can I check to see if that fish is still there?
The fish is not still there.
Okay.
It's swam off.
15.
15. As you
Bounce along
are
the
setting
road.
out for the day, you're not even in the wagon yet.
No.
And you Soria, with your natural skills in this area, since you were rolling this, if the other two had rolled, actually only if nines had rolled this, I would have made you check, but your skills are such that you would have noticed this immediately. There are some what appear to be wolf tracks, and they had gone by your camp, and you don't know if they were there from before you arrived or came after while you were sleeping, perhaps. But you do find some wolf tracks.
Do they look like normal wolves?
I mean, yeah, they're large paw prints. You recognize them. You've seen wolves before.
There was about upwards of 78 wolves that came by our camp last night.
Oh, and we did not set up the screamy stick.
Yeah, we didn't.
If you
Perhaps we were very lucky then they did not eat us.
are you actually trying to get a count of them?
Yeah.
Okay, for that, I will have you roll. You may either roll a nature or a survival check. Your decision.
My
Your
survival's
prerogative.
a little better.
Your what?
My survival's better.
Then you may roll that.
I'll give myself guidance though. 11.
You're able to discern this is somewhere between 4 and 6 wolves.
It's like 4 to 6 wolves, unless they were riding on each other's backs.
They're walking in single file to hide their numbers.
Yeah. Scorch marks like these are too precise for
Wolves, yes,
for
I know. They
regular
can't
wolves.
use flaming arrows.
Only Imperial wolves.
Do the tracks go like into the woods towards the street?
They go towards the path, and you follow them a little ways, and they actually cross over that path.
We'll probably want to be careful of wolves.
Yes. Perhaps wolves are not good. Do you wish to tell Captain
About what? Like this?
about the wolves?
I mean, he's like 5 feet away. We've been talking about it right in front of him.
I
Very
am
loudly.
very aware of the wolves at this point.
Well then, what is your suggestion?
That we simply keep moving. We can hardly sit around all day waiting for them to take whatever action they want to. They will act how they please, and we will have to
They
respond
might
when
want
they do.
their key back.
You never know. Okay.
I can't say I've known a wolf to have a key, or much less want it back.
Have you known many wolves?
A few.
I have known wolves in the woods as well, and none of them have ever had a key that I know of.
Did you ask?
I have asked, but I could not understand their reply.
Well, maybe. Since you can talk to animals, well, the whole day, you can just constantly be shouting, "Hey wolves, don't attack us, please."
So in Wolvish, I should say,
No.
you who are wolves,
They understand you
Yes.
in whatever language.
you who are wolves, please do not attack us as we
Just-
pass.
Repeat that.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
You who are wolves, please do not attack us. You who are wolves, please do not attack us. How long should we keep this up? Before
It's
This
a
is the
day.
worst
a whole
song.
day.
Well, yeah,
right.
you have to put some beats to it.
What
Be
are
like,
the wolves that
You
won't
who
attack?
are wolves, please do not attack us.
I guess he
You
is
who
Bard.
are wolves.
I
I do this to the tune of the song that never ends.
You are who wolves do not attack. You who are wolves do not attack. You are who wolves do not attack.
Like that.
Okay.
Lyrical genius.
Roll some percentile dice.
me again?
Yes.
Everything-
This is not a. All three of you will be rolling for this one.
Everything's
In
coming up, Soria.
Oh.
47.
Okay. All right. You continue down the road, and you see wolf tracks along the side of the road. Just off in the woods, but you notice them because you've been following, seeing where they go. Roll Seth. Roll some percentile die.
4.
4. You
That double zero is really annoying.
roll a survival check, Soria, since you've been tracking the wolves' movements.
Guidance. That one plus 1. 9.
The wolves' tracks go behind a couple of trees and then disappear, and you've now lost track of them. And you're struggling to find them again. 9s. Why don't you roll some percentile dice?
I got a 6.
So a 4 then a 6. You guys are rolling
Low.
for this one.
Is that good or bad?
You'll find out. You continue down the path. At no point do you pick up the wolves' trail again. You don't see it. Night is falling. And it's getting darker. Not quite ready to stop yet. But you don't know if wolves are following you. And you're losing the light. And the forest is... well, it's starting to thin, but you're not out of it yet.
We're not out of the woods yet. We better walk.
You continue on. Now, for a little while longer, it's now getting to be pretty close to complete sundown. Do you... and actually, why don't you make another survival check?
With guidance. 18.
You don't pick up the wolf's trail. Still don't see their tracks. Do you want to keep moving for the night? Do you want to bed down here?
Before we stop, I have a plan to see if I can tell
A plan.
who else are.
Okay.
I'm going to turn into a wolf. And,
Okay.
And howl.
Okay. Why don't you make a nature check?
I don't do that much. I can't guidance myself because I'm a wolf.
That is correct.
21.
You let out a long, low howl. There you go. And what's the show for podcast listeners if it's not like a radio broadcast? Right? Gotta do some sound effects every once in a while. You let out this long, low howl. And what was your result?
21.
Off in the distance, you can't quite tell where, you get a response.
I know these guys, they're cool.
Are they like a band?
Bark.
Yeah, you're a wolf.
That's what you get from your call.
You are our captain. How about that?
Yes.
Apparently, there are wolves in the woods. You have noticed that, I know.
Yes, I couldn't help but notice the one next to me, and then the calls responding.
What do you suggest? Could we continue moving through the night, or do we need to stop and take our chances?
It can be dangerous to confront wolves here in the woods. It can be equally dangerous to get yourselves trapped by going over a rut just slightly too hard. You might crack a wheel. You might break an axle. But both
We might
carry
cross
risks.
over a lightning rune.
Yes, we could do that as well. You never know when a band of hobgoblins might try to stun you.
About every 3 days.
Charm.
Indeed, we've gone through 2 and been lucky so far. So now, odds are on their side.
Odds do not work that way.
I find that the more often you press your luck, the more often you end up losing.
Perhaps we could just stay in the wagon overnight, and we could keep watch.
Ah, wolf!
And Nines can speak to them and understand their response. I can continue
We
to...
do good with wolves.
So, you have no helpful advice at all, is that correct?
These are wolves. They can be dangerous, especially at night. But traveling takes risks of its own. I'm game for whatever you would prefer to do. We can press further into the night and on till morning. And we run a decent chance of perhaps running into something that hampers us for quite a while.
Olsef, just flip coin. We'll just let that decide.
Okay. Odds, we move along. Evens, we camp in the wagon.
Yes, that is also how I describe a coin.
I don't have a coin.
We just get like 500 of it.
For answering a riddle, that's answer was coin.
This coin's all the way down.
Nines, make the decision. You have very poor judgment, so we know that whatever you decide must be wrong.
I am offended by that.
Ah,
I will roll die to determine where we do.
You guys are excellent. You guys are really good.
You should use it to Staxi. Just saying.
Bark.
Even we go odds, we stay in camp. And we got a 3.
So you stay in camp.
I will
in the wagon.
leave.
Or unless they do their original plan where we just do the opposite of what I say.
I will leave wolf form,
Okay.
and I'm going to look for an area that would be difficult for wolves to approach from.
Okay.
A tree.
Go ahead and roll.
Guidance. 23.
It takes you a little while to find something that you feel is suitable, but eventually you find a glade that would give you a little bit more room to move about in case of an attack by wolves. And one with some large boulders that form some sort of natural barriers. It's not perfect, but, you know, it'll do for the night.
Let me set up my screamy stick.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
And I'll just cook like veggies and stuff.
And again, the reason I'm having Nines roll a stealth check is to see if he can kind of put himself in the mind of someone trying to sneak up on you all.
I got an 11, so probably not.
I should have given you guidance.
You place the stick in the spot you think best. And there it sits.
I don't want to make food, like cook food, because the smell might attract animals, so
So let's just have bread and raw veggies.
yeah.
Crudité
Yeah.
und Brot.
And mead.
And mead.
Okay.
That will warm our bellies.
It is good to be drunk if the wolves attack, yes.
Yes, won't even know wolves are coming.
Well, you bed down for the night.
Wait,
Get yourselves...
2 things.
Yes.
1, I want to practice lockpicking.
Okay.
And 2, do we want to, since we know there's an actual danger, do we want to have like a watch for once?
Wow, we have not watched in a very long time. I remember watching. Jomar and I used to share the watch. But he is missing, so someone else must.
But we have like 3 pirates who are super trustworthy too.
They could do the watching while we rest. We have paid them after all.
I don't mind taking watch. I'm fairly certain that you'll probably want the 2 drivers to be well rested as we travel rougher roads.
So maybe you and Olsaf?
I don't mind sharing that.
Okay, I practice fervent tech.
I'm
learning.
practicing
Okay.
lockpicking.
54 more fervent tech learning.
Okay.
I got 97 and 19.
That's your third 97. Jeez. And 9s. I'm guessing you are.
30.
What'd you say?
30 on my ziffer.
30?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, the connection is a little blurbly at the moment.
What? On my connection? No. I'm thinking of something else.
So I wanted to double check. And
So I will take first watch.
since you're taking first watch, I won't roll. You can roll percentile dice.
Ooh, I got a 97. Seriously.
That's a very common number in your
Out of
rolling
100.
records. That seems to stick out quite a bit. Okay. You go through your shift and you sense nothing approaching camp.
You, who are captain, how about that? It is now your time to watch. While I was watching, I saw nothing and heard nothing.
Well, I shall mind the camp and you get some rest.
Yes. Thank you very much for taking your watch.
Oh, of course. And since the captain is up, let's see what happens on the captain's shift. The three of you are woken up the next morning by one of the two crewmates, gently rousing you. The three of you slept quite hard last night. You snored a great deal, actually.
Perhaps it was the mead, but it was good. It was really good to not be dreaming about frog legs or locks.
Yes, we just had nothing that time. Not even dreams of wolves attacking.
Although it hasn't been the most pleasant of couple of days traveling through these forests, certainly not the most comfortable on one's back. We are fortunately now getting quite close to Stilbourgh. Say, based on our location, about 2 days more travel until we reach a city.
And we don't need to really hide our identities because we're not going into another country yet, right?
No, you won't need to assume another identity until we get close to the Cornwall Republic.
Alright.
Now, before we set out, just having finished my watch, I think I need to get myself a little bit of breakfast, and I think we should all take a break. And
Great
we'll
segue.
pick up our travels in just a little while. So sit back, relax,
Who are you talking to?
maybe go to the bathroom, and
Go to the
we'll be
bathroom.
back
In the
on the
woods.
road soon enough. See you soon. Welcome back, everybody. When we last left off, we were about to set out for the day and head out into the horizon. So that's where we rejoined the group.
How's your back doing?
Oh, after a little stroll about camp, I feel much better. Thank you for asking.
Do you want like a
delusional.
therapeutic massage?
No, thank you.
Are you sure? I'm very trained in medicine.
Although I appreciate the gesture, I try not to take massages from any of the people I smuggle. It's a bit of a policy.
What about
Does
from
that
yourself?
come up often?
No, but I find it's a good policy to have nonetheless. And also, getting a massage for myself would be excellent if it were I giving me the massage, but it is not. Just a very accurate facsimile.
Okay.
So who are you now?
I'm Ishmaela.
So, it is the next morning.
The dwarf.
You managed to go through the night without being attacked by wolves. And let's see who determines what happens today. Ulseth, it's your turn now. Go ahead and roll some percentile dice.
Fate is in my hand.
Well, make it out in your hand.
Okay. 84.
84.
Let's see what that gets you.
I feel like nothing horrible will happen today.
It has been a most uneventful several days.
Is that the
Quite
bar?
relaxing except for the frog legs.
You travel down the road, and you, within about half of the day's travel, emerge from the woods out into some sweeping plains. There are rolling hills on both your left and right that rise up several hundred feet, covering the horizon lines, but you can see out into a long valley between these rolling hills. And that is where the trail goes off into the distance. We're finally on the home stretch to Stilbourgh.
That must mean that we are nearly there.
Yes, quite. This is the last bit of travel. Usually this area is pleasant enough to travel through.
Are the roads much smoother?
Oh, yes, they are. Much smoother through this part. Although you will probably be a bit chillier, and it does rain a fair bit through here.
Oh, good
Although
thing
at
the
the
wagon
moment-
is covered.
The weather is actually
I
quite
don't
nice at
think
the
it's
moment.
covered. Is this a covered wagon?
It is.
Oh, wow, it is
The
covered.
whole time.
Yeah.
I didn't even look up.
How many times they transformed? I thought this was an undercover wagon.
An undercover wagon. No, we are undercover on the wagon.
So is a covered wagon actually an undercover wagon? And if so, then
The
what's a
wagon
covered
part is
wagon? Is the covered wagon actually when the wagon is covered? I guess it's still an
wagon is
undercover
covered.
wagon.
Is
I
the
have
top
noticed-
count as part of the wagon?
Yes.
Then it's not undercover.
Oh, okay.
And
You
I
try
have
to make it
noticed that
look like
whenever we
not
have
a
meat, we
wagon,
are off the
that it's an
wagon.
undercover wagon.
But do we have this wagon covered?
So you are venturing down into this valley between many rolling hills on both the northern and southern sides.
And they're covered in
So
wolf
if we
fur.
ever set up a tavern, I just thought of the best name for a tavern.
Oh, what would that be?
The Wagon and Flagon.
That's actually a really good name
I know.
for a tavern.
Wagon and flagon.
I wonder if that's a name of like an actual tavern.
I'm sure it is. Just saying.
And if it is, they can sponsor this channel.
Yeah. The Wagon and Flagon has the best fish and chips on the west side of
The road.
the
So I searched
Here.
for wagon and I searched for the term the wagon and flagon. I don't actually see any results. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
It literally means it doesn't
At least
exist.
it's not popular enough to come up quick on a search.
Oh, let's trademark that quick before it's gone.
We have a lot of money after talking to that weirdo. We could just start a tavern. We have a name.
But I thought you were on a quest.
That's all you need.
We could call our party the Wagon and Flagon.
No.
No? Okay, I wanted a mug.
You have a mug.
I don't.
A
This
better
is company property.
As you're gently bouncing down the road, you see a group of gnomes, all dressed in what appear to be sort of minstrel clothing.
Attack.
They are laughing raucously, sort of bouncing down the path towards you now.
Someone's cast Tasha's hideous laughter on them.
I don't
9.
think it'll be effective.
No, I think they're laughing. They already had it cast on them.
Well, but they're moving towards us. That incapacitates them with how funny our jokes are.
That's true. What's our? Wait, they look like minstrels. You said?
They look like they're in minstrel garb. There's a whole group of them.
So they're like bards, kind of, or performers.
They're
or something.
definitely performers.
9s. This is your wheelhouse. Take the lead.
Oh no, I have this creepy thing with gnomes.
What is it?
What is that? And maybe you should not
They're
tell us.
creepy. They're small.
I like Dromar.
But smaller, right? Or
About
are they
the
just
same
far
size.
away?
Right, they're just far away.
Well, let's get them closer so they stop being creepy.
Okay. Are you scared of things that are like this big?
They're more like this big, the
Alright.
size of head.
I turn into a rat.
Smack the rat out of the wagon.
Oh, I don't actually do that.
Smack the rat.
Is that the name of our group?
No.
So
Back the rat. Kind of like that.
Smack the rat. Attack.
the gnomes are now getting closer to you.
Well, our drivers have standing instructions that they're
To slow down for any visitor.
slow down or stop for anybody we have.
They
Anyway,
begin to slow the wagon.
Excuse me, gnomes.
What are all of your names?
And tragic backstories.
We are the Gilded Troop.
Is that
The gilded
with a
troop.
U or not with a U?
Which way do you prefer it?
With a U. Because it sounds like you're an association.
Well, then we are the Gilded Troop with a U. Preferably you. Would you like to join us in some festivities?
So is the
No.
U
Is there an
in?
entrance fee?
No, we simply bring merriment wherever we go. Often for a bit
Which
of
one of you is merriment?
Insight check.
One of them in the back stands up. I'm merriment.
And you go wherever they do.
Generally speaking, yes.
Aha, that explains it. So
Insight
was the
check.
U?
Yeah, I
was the
think
U in the
this is
gilded or the
suspicious.
troop?
Well, where do you prefer it, sir?
It's like a guild. Like a gilded.
I get
Instead
that. I
of-
know. I was wondering if perhaps the U was in the troop. Perhaps they spelled it T-R-O-U-P-E.
Like Troup.
Yeah, or T-R-U-O-P-E.
The U, as they do this, they sort of like acrobatic into form like a giant. Well, giant. They're all
Probably helps.
gnomes, so it's not very large. But they all acrobat to form like a U with their bodies. Imagine Cirque du Soleil, and there's a U in the background, and the one speaking, we can put you wherever you want. Our name is pretty flexible as far as we're concerned, as long as it makes you happy.
You're all pretty flexible too.
Well, thank you. And they
Insight
like
check still.
tumble down and somersault around and then pop back up.
Guidance.
All right, go ahead. And
I-
what are you trying to insight here?
If they're a threat.
If they're a threat, okay.
Nat
Just your
20
sanity.
plus 10 total, so 30.
What would a threat mean to you?
Literally anything.
Um,
No. Like, are they?
you don't get the sense that they're violent.
They're not violent. Are they looking to scam us?
You don't get any sort of ill intent from them. They seem to just be a traveling group of entertainers, and this might be kind of how they are. They just enjoy jumping and bouncing and entertaining.
So you who are now a you.
Oh, get back. And they all, and then reform a U.
Can you do a T?
T's a tough one.
Capital T.
And they all jump together and
Lowercase I.
like the one who there's like a really beefy looking gnome just and holds his arms out as much as he can, and then there's two other gnomes that are like planking out. They can't hold it for very long, but they do make a T.
Lowercase I.
Oh, that's easy. And they drop down, and then three of them stack up. One, instead of being the feet on the shoulders, so the second one up holds that one on the back. That one then lays down, and a fourth one curls up into a tight ball, and with feet and hands assisting, they are kind of bouncing that one up a little bit and spinning it around.
Do you have any letters? Oh, can you do 9? That's, isn't it?
I don't think we've ever attempted a number before. That might be a little bit hard.
Oh. Well, there's a
You
first.
can't do it.
Wow. I
What
guess
they're
we
telling
can't.
us.
Well, let's give it a shot. And they jump up, form a straight line, and then two of them, one from the top and then one from a few up, bend towards each other and meet.
Should we see if they can do one of these runes? What?
Quit weaponizing the gnomes.
I guess the question would be, they can't actually see the whole rune, so everyone who sees it would, but it also can't occupy physical space, so they couldn't really make it. Huh. Yeah, I don't think you could pull that off.
I'll bet you. Do you guys do wagers?
Well, as a matter of practice, we try not to engage in the art of gambling.
Oh.
That's
I
great
did
because
not
you
know
won't
it was
win
an
this.
Yeah, because I have
That's
a
really gambling.
I have a symbol you could never replicate.
Well, that does sound like a bit of a challenge, but there's a lot of languages out there written in scripts that, well, are hard to form with, well, bodies.
Huh.
So,
Wait, I asked all your names. What are all of your names?
You really want us to give all our names? There's like 9 of them.
Yep.
Top 3. Just top
I
3
know
of
there's
them.
Merryman.
All right.
merriment goes wherever they go.
Oh, they probably have a whole song and dance number about their names.
Yeah,
I bet they
in
do.
the public domain.
Give me a moment.
Is this BB?
Hey, you asked, so now you have to deal with it.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, so I'm coming up with these on the fly, but I'm writing them down so that should you ever meet them again, I have it. There's merriment, jubilant, frivolity. Then there is tippy,
Tippy.
lippy, there's Ned, Fred, Ted, and
Francis.
Never
Francine.
Which one is the big one?
The big one,
Yeah.
that's Tippy.
So did you all like? Where did you all meet? Are you like related? Did you like do like a Craigslist thing?
Oh, no, we're from Pintyvale.
Where's that?
Oh, across the ocean a ways over on the far eastern side of the continent.
Have you run into any hobgoblins that just keep putting ruins up?
Oh, those guys? Yeah, they're everywhere.
Did you ever get a free spear?
A free speed? No, I don't think we have.
I have two.
Yeah. Each
And you
time
got
we,
it for free? Well, that's lucky.
Yeah, they threw it to me.
I'm not sure they threw it to you. I think they might have thrown it at you.
I missed the catch, but yeah.
Well, if that's how you want to look at it, I always say look on the bright side.
That's where the sun is. You don't look at sun.
You, by the way, are talking to Lippy.
Yeah, we gathered that.
Are you? Are you? So wait.
so where are you coming from and to where are you going?
Oh, well, we just did a small performance for a festival down in Stilbourgh. See? They're in the middle of their big election season. They elect all the town officials, and they have a big festival about it. So they have us there every couple of years, and, we like hanging out and throwing a big party with them.
Is the election still going on?
Oh, yeah. We just show up for the first few days of the festival. We got places to be. Now, we're off to Drogmara.
Wow. Going all the way to Jogmara.
Yeah, we're pretty popular there.
Well, if you ever get arrested, we have a friend in prison there.
We hope to never be arrested. So, I hope we don't meet your friend. It's a little weird.
Well,
He was a little weird.
yes, he was little and weird.
Yes.
Well,
So I
Yeah.
cast detect magic on a lot of them.
You gonna rob them?
Just curious. Maybe one's a
In the general area of where they are.
yeah. So
What
they
if
kind of
they-
look at you and they're like, what was that? None of them are magical.
Okay, so Tippy's not like an orc with an illusion.
No, you get no magical sense from any of them.
Just regular security check.
Well, you never can be too cautious when you're on the road like this.
No, there are wolves.
Yeah, there's probably like some wolves like right in the woods, by the way. Like
Oh, well, thanks for the tip.
4 to 6.
And there is nothing much to buy in the towns along the way other than bread. An occasional baguette.
Merriment pipes up. Well, we try to perform quite a bit out there, so yeah, we know there's not much to buy, but they give us pretty tasty food and usually some coins. Not much else to do when you're traveling to Drogmara, so you try to pick up what you can.
Do you have any quests for us?
Why would we have quests for you?
I don't know. It just seems like, we met you on the road. It's like fated.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't have any quests. Do you guys have any quests? No, we don't have any
Well, I
quests.
have a question. What do you think happened to Fervin?
I don't know. I don't know much about Fervin.
How come we're never getting anyone with the crazy theories? That'd be great.
Sorry, Fervin wasn't really that big of a deal where we live.
What was a big deal where you live?
Spice cake?
Spice cake.
Yeah.
How do you make spice cake?
Give me the recipe.
They all sort of have their eyes grow wide simultaneously, and they look both eager and offended.
And I have the
understand that
recipe
look.
for what's your favorite spice cake?
Okay. Do you know much about Pintyvale?
I know virtually nothing about anywhere.
They grew up in swamp.
A good swamp.
Okay.
They don't have
You might
doors.
not know this, but in Pintyvale, we have the world's best spice cake recipe.
Does it have a cool name?
Spice cake.
Oh.
Does it have tragic backstory?
It's a spice cake. It doesn't really have a tragic backstory.
The person who made it could have, I don't know, haunted walruses.
The captain behind you is just like scratching his head. You know, I've been traveling with you for more than a full week, and you keep saying things that I just can't comprehend what actually said.
You've been everywhere, Captain. Have you had the spice cake?
Oh yes, but I take no sides in this conflict.
What conflict?
Now they look kind of like that look when someone just needs to explain something. Like they're not necessarily mad, but they need to very energetically explain it.
Okay.
Okay. So those assholes, and the others are like,
Is this Lippy?
yeah, this is Lippy.
Okay.
The others of the troop are like, oh.
Only Lippy can
Sorry
say
for my
real
language.
words.
But those people in Linvin, they all think they have the best spice cake recipe. They're wrong. They're wrong. Pintyvale has the best national spice cake recipe, and Linvin's is terrible. It tastes like butt.
Like, pig
How do
fart?
you know what butt tastes like?
Well, anyone knows what butt tastes like if you've ever tried Linvin's stupid cake.
Have you?
We're all made to try it so we can recognize an inferior product.
As like part of your education?
Is it like one of your major
Yeah, it's like
imports?
third grade for us.
What is a Linven?
It's the other country on our continent.
We grew up in the swamp. Well, I did.
I grew up in the woods near the swamp.
They didn't have doors.
Okay, look.
In our geography lesson, we did not learn about this continent with a Pintyvale and Linven. Perhaps it was deficient in that.
Well, we were focused on this continent.
The continent of Retton.
Of who?
Retton.
Retton.
That's the continent. You're on Retthun.
So, wait, do you have a copy of the recipe for this spice cake I could see?
We're not permitted to give the recipe out. It's a national secret.
But it's like all over?
Yeah. It's everywhere.
So, okay.
You happen to have
any?
some with you.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have some? Of course we have some. We always travel with it. Any self-respecting Pintyvalian always travels with some spice cake.
Can I
And I
try
will
some?
trade you for some pie.
Pie?
Yes,
Wait, why
pie.
do you have pie?
I made it.
Because I stole it.
Yeah, I made it. He stole it.
Oh,
How
well,
this relationship works.
here. All right. They reach into one of their packs and pull out a full cake. Guess I'll have to make another one of these. And,
So you do have recipe.
well, of course we have the recipe. We're just not permitted to give it out.
That's like every citizen have the recipe?
Yeah, it's our national cake.
Nines. Perhaps if you lose some money, they might lose the recipe.
I don't think that will work, Olsaf.
They seem
but
really-
you could threaten them.
You threaten them with your club. So they're handing us the cake.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
We hand the
We
pie.
taste the cake.
Oh, well, thank you very much. They start cutting up the pie, and they quickly set up a little, like, table and a blanket and some utensils. They're all very quickly coordinated, and they're now consuming said pie.
I'll try the cake.
Pretty good pie.
Thanks.
Very tasty.
That's the big boy crime you're tasting.
My pork crab tastes pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
The cake. First, roll a perception check.
Okay.
Just you for now, because you're the only one eating it, right?
Guidance?
At the moment?
At the moment.
With guidance?
No. This is not one you can prepare for.
12.
Okay.
Not great.
The captain has his back turned to the gnomes, and he's just like, and he's like signaling, like, give the thumbs up.
You have to kill that?
He's like mouthing, and he's like and signing, like trying to get across the message. Pretend you like the cake.
Want us to scoop their skulls out? And make chalices out of it?
Walks over
Too
and
many
just
holes
smacks
in
him.
the skull.
Don't offend them. Just say you like the cake,
Do I like the cake?
no matter what you think of it.
Okay.
You take a bite. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not bad, but it's not like really good. But it's okay.
Have I ever had spice cake before?
Now, you haven't had this kind of spice cake, but I mean, you've had cake. Yeah, at least on your travels since you left your village. Cake was not something you guys really made, but you have had cake, and this is sort of a thicker, heavier, moister kind of cake, and it is very, but it has a lot of different flavors in it. It is a spice cake, so there's a lot of aromatics going on, but you would describe its flavor as conflicted.
I can honestly say this is the best spice cake I've ever eaten.
Well, of course
Let
it
me-
is.
Let me try it.
Alright, here you go, Nines.
Do I need to roll a perception check?
You've noticed what's going on, and you overheard the captain explaining this to Soria.
All right, well, I still take a bite.
It's
okay.
okay.
Needs tuna.
The nine, the gnomes, they sit down there, silverware, and all almost simultaneously look up at you. It's okay.
It's okay.
I turn my back and walk away to a respectful distance.
I don't think that you. I don't think that you are an individual qualified to judge cakes.
It might not be for the tabaxi palate.
Why? Because it's so
Our
refined?
cake is for every palate.
Oh, you're right.
I know.
Inside check.
Go ahead.
Guidance. 26.
You can tell that they are very easily offended by those not speaking as highly as possible about their cake.
I start looking at the rolling hills to see if there are wolves anywhere.
You find nothing.
I continue to look at a respectful distance.
They push back from the table, start setting things away, throw the pie on the ground, and are packing up. Thank you for the trade. The pie was fine. And
Thank you.
we wish you well on your travels. And they just go like marching off then.
I think you made them angry.
Yes, then why did they give me cake?
It went in the other direction. But
For the record,
they went
the
that
cake was
direction.
fine.
I'm shouldn't lie to them. That'd be mean.
I didn't lie to them either. I just said it was the best spice cake I've ever had.
In general, when encountering Pentivalians or Linvins, just tell them whatever they made is the best tasting thing when it comes to their national desserts.
How similar is this other Lincoln spice cake?
I have been around the world and tasted desserts far and wide. I have sampled many a variety of cakes, and I find both the Linvin and Pentivalian spice cakes to be acceptable.
Not quite
Acknowledge-
okay.
They are edible and have flavor. They are usually at least moist and crumbly, but other than that, I find them to be not particularly interesting. But it's not for me to say what they care about. Just try not to offend them.
Can we salvage the pie?
Not really.
I can make you another pie.
No, then I can steal it.
But I think I might make a spice cake tonight.
Sure, why not?
I can have any spices I want.
Yeah, I was just thinking through, like, come to think of it, how did you make the pie? I'm like, well, I guess you have the fireless frying pan.
I have
So you
cooking
could just-
utensils. I assume I have like a Dutch oven.
Yeah, like you could have a couple of ways to make an oven. So it's fine. Well, unless you want to go and piss off some gnomes more, I say let's move on for the day.
I would not ask
that's an
gnomes
option?
that.
I mean, you're the paying travelers. If you want to go and piss off some gnomes, far be it for me to stop you.
I come back to the wagon and say, you are our captain. How about that? Maybe we continue on our journey.
Well, if that's what you wish,
I do wish that.
on we go.
I do wish it fervently.
And you travel down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Night eventually sets in, and as you do, you hit the crest of a particularly large hill. As the sun finally falls well enough below the horizon where hardly any light is reaching the ground from it. And you can see far, far off in the distance, you're quite up high on this hill, a distant town on the shore. The first time that the two of you have ever seen the ocean. And it's
a big blue wet thing.
I was thinking the same thing.
it is a big blue wet thing.
It's terrible, though.
Does it?
Yeah.
What's it taste like?
Salt.
Salt?
But a lot of it.
Like how much salt?
This much salt.
Wow, that's a lot of salt.
Is that where the other group got its name from? Saltworthy?
Well, they certainly aren't seaworthy, so I guess the saltworthy part is fine.
I'll start looking for a camp. Well, we have a salt discussion.
Go ahead.
Guidance?
Do you want the bardic inspiration this
I
time?
already rolled. I rolled 28.
28. You have a pretty good overview because you're up high on this hill, and you find that there's a little cove about a quarter mile down the hill heading towards the coast.
There's a little cove.
And it would be a nice place to bed up for the night. And as long as you smothered the ashes before you fell asleep, it would be hard for anyone to find you. Tucked behind this series of rocks in between a couple hills.
I set up my screamy stick.
And I will bake a spice cake.
Okay. You set up your screamy stick. Why don't you roll a stealth check? Let's see how well you place that.
That is a 13.
you take your best guess at placing it in the pathway. Why don't you roll a wisdom check?
Do I get, since I'm proficient with cook utensils, do I get proficiency?
Yes, you can have proficiency here.
Yeah, and guidance.
Yeah.
24.
It takes you a couple hours, and it's quite dark by the time you're done, which makes seeing how it's rising and setting a little more challenging, because the light is dim.
I have dark vision goggles.
Essential for cooking.
Essential for cooking.
Yeah.
But you are able to produce a cake certainly better than what you had earlier this afternoon, without too great of an effort.
I made a better cake, everyone.
I will have some cake.
I am literally a better chef than 2 whole countries.
I enjoy your cake.
Do you allow everyone to have a bite?
Yeah. I make it for everyone.
Does it go with mead?
Yes.
Probably, actually.
This is certainly much better than both of the national spice cakes.
Thanks. Drizzle some honey on it.
Oh. Cephine does so. Oh, it's quite tasty this way. I enjoy it. Thank you for the cake.
Of course.
I must say, it is nice to taste a spice cake that, well, if I do say so, doesn't taste quite so much like butt. I don't think very highly of either of those national recipes.
You don't think highly of butts?
Oh, no, I do think highly of butts. He says with like a very a very boyish grin. Just, yes.
Well, we learned something about the captain today.
Yes, we did. So,
Making a note.
are you sharing some mead?
Captain Butt Lover.
Nines. Do you think that is his real name instead of how about that?
I think, yes, you should definitely call him that next time you see him. Just right now, because he's right there.
I would have made actual dinner while it was like baking, so we
Okay.
would have fun. So I'm like,
And Nines, do you share some mead?
Yes, I will share my mead with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. You sat down for the evening, having enjoyed a pretty darn good cake. And let's see what happens overnight. Soria.
The cake comes
Don't
alive.
we
and tries to
do
kill
our
us.
training stuff?
oh yeah, training.
You can do your training if you want to.
Oh, we're not chubby
Definitely.
tire from the cake.
95.
Wow.
Soria.
29 and 96.
Nines.
80.
Okay. Now, Soria, let's see what happens during the night.
The gnomes come back and steal the
8.
recipe.
You're sleeping through the night, and it's, as the captain warned you, a bit chillier. And you're woken briefly by the sounds of rain starting to pelt the sides of your tents. And it now starts to come down a little harder, but not quite so much that it's storming, but it's a steady rain. But you sleep through the night, other than that brief moment, undisturbed.
These have been very restful nights, except for the dreams about locks and frog legs.
In the morning, when you wake, it's still raining. Well, this is the lovely weather, the western coast of Glindreng. Get used to this. It's almost always dreary, rainy, and chilly.
This is pretty
I hate
similar
this.
to what I grew up in.
Well, then you should feel right at home.
I do.
Excellent. I love it when those traveling with me are comfortable. I'm going to pack up quickly and try to hit the road. We should be able to make Stilbourgh by nightfall if we hurry.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, let's not
Make
start
it so.
talking to a random stranger once we get down the road.
Yeah. Wait, maybe we'll run into 3 random strangers who
All right.
all have opinions about like pastries.
There's very strong opinions about pastries. So let's see what happens today. 9s.
Uh-oh. Roll 68.
Hmm. 33.
Uh-oh. That's
Oh,
a
that
bad
is
one.
divisible by 3 easily.
Should I roll initiative? No?
You travel further down the road, and with the height of these hills near the coastline, you can, for most of your travels today, see all the way to the coast. Stilbourgh is growing ever closer, and within a few hours of setting off, there is another. Your wagon has a canvas sort of cover. It's, treated so that it will run the rain off, but it's not very well insulated from much else. But there's a cart traveling the opposite direction that is fully wooden, covered, and looks to be that of a traveling merchant.
We should buy stuff.
I love capitalism. This is
We
a
have
radical
not-
departure from the beginning.
We have not done retail shopping in many, many days.
Like 11 or 12 days.
Yes. I mean, other than some bread loaves.
Yeah, but that's not really.
No.
Do you still want us to slow down?
Did we change our orders?
Just making sure, since we're getting close. You slow down. Do you hail this other wagon?
It is hailing now?
Excuse me, other wagon.
This time, a female drow pokes her head out. Oh. Hello.
What's your name?
Oh, my name is Cynthia.
What's your tragic backstory?
I don't have much tragedy in my
Oh.
backstory.
What do
Is
you
it-
think happened to Fervin?
I think he was assassinated.
Assassinated?
Yeah.
By who?
Whom?
What?
Where?
When?
He was assassinated
I know when.
by the Republicans from Colmar.
Well, they do that.
What?
Why?
Are you a traveling merchant?
Yeah.
Are
Does
you?
that mean you're a small business owner?
Your accent sounds like you're maybe from Nordfeld.
Yeah. That is correct.
What do you sell?
Mostly healing potions. That is what I sell.
The roads are very rough, so be careful with your bottles.
They are all packed securely.
And how much are your potions?
They are 30 gold apiece.
I'll buy 2.
Very well. I'm running a bit low on stock. The sailors, they purchased most of my goods. I'm on my way back to Nordfeld to resupply.
Would you like some spice cake?
It's not from Ninvin or Pentyvale, is it?
Why do you not like them from those places?
I don't particularly prefer either of their
No, I made
recipes.
it.
They were
Oh,
okay.
then yes, I find that most spice cakes are lovely.
I would also like 2 potions. But all I have is 55 gold. And this club.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
You're going to trade your club for a potion?
Weapon. I'm just showing it off. It's a nice club. It bleeds blood.
It is. It is threatening by its very nature. Just be clear here.
You should go with the soft sell and use the crowbar.
Oh, Bachelor?
Crowbar.
Right now.
I forgot you called it crowbar.
This is. Of course, this is how it goes. You see her eyes get wide for a moment. Yeah, 55 gold is perfectly fine. You seem very nice.
Thank you. Take an extra 5 gold for your assistance.
She hands over 2 healing potions, look very confused and worried.
Do you have anything other than healing potions?
Not right now.
Do you bring
These
any?
sellers bought most of my product.
Do you bring anything back with you from Stilbourgh? Like, what's good to buy there?
Well, they have particularly good seafoods, although I don't travel with them. They are they don't preserve well.
Is that like all they really make there?
Yeah, that is the chief export.
Something that doesn't preserve well is their chief export.
Well, not when traveling roads. They do most of their shipping with ice-packed containers of rivers.
Okay.
You who are Cynthia,
Yeah?
is it not unusual for you to be traveling during the day, which is your night?
I've had to adapt to most of the other world's schedules.
That must be very difficult for you.
It has been a bit of a challenge, but I enjoy the freedom of the road.
I am wondering, have you ever encountered Sturmgrimmy?
Yeah. You know about Stormgrimmy?
Yes,
Yeah,
we have
saw it.
seen Sturmgrimmy.
Why are we whispering?
Not many people know about Stormgrimmy. The captain is over there just like, oh god. Have you seen Stormgrimmy?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've seen
did see
Stormgrimmy.
We threw some chickens in the water and it ate them.
Stormgrimmy likes chickens.
Mm-hmm.
I've thrown the chickens in the water too.
Yeah?
Nobody likes it when you throw chickens in the water.
Yeah, we got yelled at.
But Sturmgrimmy was very happy.
I've not been so fortunate to see Stormgrimmy. But I have seen the chickens disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we wish you well, because Sturmgrimmy is magnificent.
I try to bring Stormgrimmy food and offerings when I can. He keeps me safe on my travels.
Do you want to see an artist's rendition of Stormgrimmy?
Yes, I've always wanted to gaze eyes on Stormgrimmy. Beautiful. A little tear goes down her cheek. That's...
We'll make sure to put that on our Twitter account.
There it is. That's the artist rendering of Stormgrimmy.
So if people who hunt Sasquatch go squanchin', what was it called when we go Sturmgrimmin? Just Sturmgrimmin?
Yes.
I think Grimmin.
Sturmgrimmering.
You're going Grimmin.
Storming the castle.
I have just one potion left. Do any of you want it?
For free?
You might need it. There's wolves.
Yes, that is a good point.
And some very angry gnomes.
Yeah, there's some.
no.
You might want to go slow. There's some
Did you-
Pinty Vale gnomes.
Did you not like the spice cake?
It was okay.
It was okay.
So don't
They will be in a bad temper for days.
don't rush.
Yes.
Yes, that's why we went in opposite direction.
Perhaps if
Amen.
you stay near them but still behind them, if there are wolves on the road, they will eat them instead of you.
Perhaps I should traverse through the night. Get ahead of them. Oh, I don't need to eat the spice cake. Well, unless you require some empty bottles that you wish to purchase, I
Yeah.
shall be off. Do you want to purchase my empty bottles?
Yeah, I've been filling mine with stuff.
Oh, very well. How many bottles do you need?
How much are they?
I could let them go at silver apiece.
I'll buy 5.
Oh, okay. She turns around, rummages through a couple things, and pulls out 5 empty glass bottles.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Did you wash these?
No, I have not had the chance to clean them. It smells like a healing potion,
Okay.
which
Do
is
they
to
have
say,
stoppers?
slightly pungent.
I assume so.
Yeah, they all have stoppers.
Does she have like a deposit system? Like if I return it, I get like a gold back?
No, but oftentimes there are healers that wish to divide them up. They'll pour them into their own traveling bottles. Adventurers and sailors, they like to keep them in softer sacks than glass, as it can easily shatter for other people, but this is the best way to keep it fresh. It holds its potency for longer.
Alright, I got bottles, so
I got healing potions. You have healing potions.
thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you.
You are all welcome.
Have a safe trip back to...
Enjoy the spice cake.
Make sure to have a pretzel day when you get into Nordfell.
Oh, I do love the pretzels.
Yes.
You all as well. Safe travels.
Goodbye.
And she and her cart go off. You spend the rest of the day traveling through generally dreary, misting to raining weather. And as the sun is getting low, you arrive in Stilbourgh.
Hey, nothing tried to kill us. Except at the beginning. But this feels like a whole nother session.
And there is, you can tell there are definitely some festivities going on.
Oh,
There's-
yes, no election.
The center of the town, and this town is, to give you a description, the houses are low with fairly shallow roof lines. They mostly sit wide and lower in the ground. There's a lot of cisterns around catching water off of the roofs. It does seem to rain quite a bit here. There's an undeniable smell of fish, but to Soria and Ulseth, your noses, you've never smelled something quite so different as the ocean. It's got this sort of fresh yet stinging sensation with the salt in the air, and you can smell the processed seafood, which isn't always pleasant. The homes are well lit, and you can see in the town square, as you're coming down the hill into the city, that it is all lit up, quite bright, and there's a lot of people gathering in it. This town is a tenth of the size or less of Nordfeld, quite a bit smaller. And it's surrounded by a simple wooden wall with a couple of watchtowers along the edges. There's a large dock system stretching far out into the water, at least 200-300 yards out there. Many boats are docked in the waters, and you see even more of them out a mile or two in the ocean, their white sails billowing out as they catch the, well, urgent but hardly dangerous winds. And it looks to be, not that you've seen this before, but they are trolling across. And this is the scene that's set out before you right now. As you enter the town, and as you get to the gates, you stop for a moment, and you hear the two female pirates have a brief chat with a guard. Ask them what the business is, and they say, we're coming here to book travel further south to Krebstadt. He then waves you through. Well, now, where would you three like to stay for the evening?
Oh, where's a nice place to stay?
Yes, you are, Captain.
Or wait, maybe there's a we could stay for free if there's a guild house here
Ah, yes.
with a buffet.
But I would have thought that our paying for passage would also include lodging at a place like this.
I know, but you know. Well, I don't know. Is lodging
there a guild
considered
house?
part of the package?
Lodging is indeed considered part of the package, although we generally tend to try to keep a low profile, so we don't book the, well, swankiest of places that we can. Not that there's anywhere too fancy in a town like Stilbourgh.
Is there a Company of Blades house here?
Can't say I've ever taken a chance to notice one. So I'm not sure. If you'd like to have a look around the town, please. The sun is setting, but there's plenty of time before we really need to bed down. If not, we'll be looking around at a couple local taverns to see if there's enough room for all of us. We'll probably require 2 rooms.
You said they said earlier there's local elections going on, right?
Oh, yes, it's quite a festival around here. Every few years when that happens.
How much would someone pay for someone who could look like their political opponent to smear them?
Not sure that's quite in keeping with the spirit of the elections. But perhaps quite a bit. It does sound like a very wonderful way to get your opponent to say something that is beneficial to you.
Or kick a baby.
Yes, but do be careful. You might find yourself in a bit of a dangerous situation.
I just figured, like, I just spent like all my money hiring you, so I was thinking about trying to find some recovering some of it.
Oh yeah, you don't understand how democracy works, do you?
What do you mean?
I think Zoria probably understands
It's
it really,
just
really
like-
well.
I am happy to impersonate your opponent for you.
Well, if you pay me, yeah.
Sorry, it's not necessarily the most
I mean,
Are
upstanding
there limits
citizen.
on political?
We
spending?
didn't really have a political leader in my village. So.
No, I don't know what these election things are all about.
Well, an election is when the people all gather together and cast their vote. Then generally, each person getting 1, and they count up the votes and see who receives most of them. They each vote being cast for an individual within the community, so that that person may represent the community in a given position. Perhaps a sheriff to enforce the law, or a mayor to keep the town in order.
And what positions are being elected now?
Oh, well, every few years they elect their mayor, the rest of their town council, their sheriff, and their judges. It's a small local election, no, but it is important to them. Being one of the few democratic institutions within the country, they take pride in that.
And do they distribute ballots to everybody who is eligible to vote? Or do they require them to come to a place at a specific time and date?
Oh, the elections, they go on for a whole week at a time. Each citizen is issued 1 ballot that they can vote with. It is stamped with an official seal, and they drop it into a ballot box.
And why does it take an entire week to cast a ballot?
Well, they can only campaign and talk and discuss what they believe for that week. It's the only time they have a chance to get to know the candidates officially. Of course, as most people already know who these individuals are. They're recognizable members of the community.
Well, I'm going to ask around if there's a company at Blade's house.
Yes, probably best to try just off the town square. That's usually where they like to find their lodgings, but like I said, I'm not sure if there is one in the city.
Well, I'll ask people.
Well, why don't we meet back here in the town square in 2 hours' time?
Okay.
Okay.
Very well. And he jumps out of the cart, pulls on a cloak to protect himself from the rain. And the other two pirates, they start hitching up the horses to some posts and securing the wagon, hiding any valuables, which there really weren't many, but a couple of traveling provisions that they want to lock up.
Yeah, you definitely want to, keep those really, really good jerky provisions.
Hey, there's like 30 pounds still of really good provisions that I made.
Yeah, well, protect those. But
And they set off, looking into the various taverns to see who might be able to accommodate them and for what price. So, the three of you are on your own for the moment.
Well, I would like to ask people, just ask around for a company at Blade's Guild House.
You stop a couple folks and they say, yeah, I think there's one somewhere 2-3 blocks back over that way. And they point down south off the town square.
well, we go in that direction.
Yeah.
You head down that way and you find a very small building. Has just a couple windows. And it has the Company of Blades seal hanging out front off of a sign.
Did we pass any to Staxi salesmen?
Not on your way here, no.
Oh,
Well, we enter.
we should ask
Yeah.
Cynthia if she played.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. Hello.
Hello, you
Hello.
were our clerk.
Stewart,
Stewart.
Yes. How may I help you all?
we're members of the company at Blades.
Oh crap! Did we bring our cloaks?
Yeah.
Why would we
Oh,
not?
yeah,
all right.
We carry everything.
Welcome to Stilbourgh. How can I help you?
Would it be possible to set up lodging for tonight for the three of us plus 3 other companions?
Well, bit of a problem here. This is more of an office. We don't have any beds at this particular location.
Is there a buffet?
No, but we do work with a couple of the area taverns and book you shelter there if you need to stay. Are you here on a
You have
job?
a nice box.
What?
You have a nice box.
We have some boxes, but I don't know what to qualify them as nice.
Are there nice boxes?
No.
You kind of look behind the steward and there's some okay boxes.
They're not great boxes. This is like
I believe this is an
Nice cake
opportunity
of
for
boxes.
comparison shopping.
Well, we're currently here on personal business.
Oh, all right.
you don't tell them that. Sorry,
Why?
we're on official Company of Blade business.
We're not.
So, if you're here on,
You're willing to, you can't lie to the steward, but you're willing to dress up as a political opponent for
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Soria's got her own set of morals. That's
This is a compatriot.
So you who are a steward, the question
Yes.
What
is,
is his
if we
name?
are a member of the Company of Blades but are working on personal business, can you still provide us with lodging and food?
I can get you a night here, but that's all we can extend.
That's fine, I think.
So, yeah, I'm sure that we are going to be leaving soon. This is an opportunity to comparison shop between what they can provide through the Company of Blades and what the pirates would provide.
Right. Yeah.
In either case, it does not cost us anything, but I would prefer to stay at the better location.
Right. So, where could you set us up with?
Well, we typically work with the Swollen Pelican.
How nice are they?
They're a fairly nice tavern here in the area. They always keep a couple rooms for us. So they should be able to accommodate you for a single night.
Is there food included?
Yes, they will feed you.
Okay. Well, let's go see what the pirates...
Let's see what our compatriots, who are legal people,
legal people
have found.
That's how I talk about all of my friends.
Nines, you don't have
Hello,
friends.
fellow legal people. Shall we go commit legal things?
Big boy legal events.
Yeah, not a pie
All-time
stealer at
legal.
all. Yeah. So what we're going to do is find out what the pirates have to offer, and then compare the two, and choose the better lodging and food.
Yeah.
That's what
All right.
people want
This
to
is
know.
a
But we still
complicated
have,
thing
like-
that we don't need.
But we still have like what, an hour and a half before we meet them back at the.
Time passes swiftly in this town.
But shouldn't we figure out how much the mayor's willing to pay to smear his opponent?
You can do that if you want. You know.
We haven't done a Testaxi's battle in ages, so we need to find someone for that too.
Maybe at the tavern.
Well, what do you guys want to do then?
I'll ask where the mayor is.
Don't you know there's currently no mayor?
Oh, like there's not the previous mayor isn't running again.
They can't.
Oh,
You only can do it once.
really? Who's running for mayor?
Oh, what's his name? Frederick. Swellfoot. Frederick Swellfoot?
That sounds like you just made it up.
Why? I didn't just make it up.
It just seems like you did.
Okay. Huh. Don't know why.
Who else?
Oh, and Marion Rum.
Marion Rum. Who
Have I talked about their tragic backstories yet?
are they the only two?
Well, they're the two leading candidates.
Which-
There's always a few people who are,
Which one would you say has lesser morals?
they both seem pretty upstanding to me.
They
So-
can both stand up.
No, I mean, they both seem like good people.
Okay, which one do you prefer?
Well, I play cards with Marion every couple of weeks. Yeah, we have a local club. It's just for fun. And, I guess she's okay. Yeah, she wouldn't be my first pick for mayor, but she likes to be in charge of things. So, I think she'll do an okay job. I can't really say that I know much about her opponent.
Well, I feel like we have an hour to get involved in local politics.
Nothing bad's gonna happen with that.
No. Nothing bad could possibly happen.
If it's all right with you three, I'm gonna head back to what I was doing.
What were you doing? No, go ahead.
Okay, bye.
I thought they were gonna sit in those boxes.
You want to sit in the box?
Oh, we have work to do.
Is there
After
anything you guys
election.
want to do with a little bit more than an hour before they come back?
Just big boy election fraud.
Yeah, I could turn into a bunch of different citizens.
You just have to put a different hat on,
I can literally change my clothes at will
so you can change into a different hat every time.
every time with a different mustache.
There you go.
Well,
All right, well, we should look for like a place that has either pretzels or croissants then.
we asked you, who are steward.
Oh, we walk back there.
You go back. Thank you guys again. Can I help you?
Yes. Is there a location at which we could purchase either a croissant or a pretzel or both?
A pretzel.
A croissant or a pretzel or both?
Yeah, crow pretzel.
No.
There's a few pretzel places in town, but croissants, no.
And which is the best pretzel place? Actually, no, we do not care if the place is the best. Which has the best pretzels?
I'm not much of a pretzel person myself.
Have you never had a pretzel day?
No. Haven't had a pretzel day.
Where would you recommend to go to eat around town?
I usually like, Grimfists.
Can we get a voucher?
They don't work with the company. But that's where I like.
Who do you support for the mayor?
You already asked that.
I'm not
the
allowed to
steward?
vote. You weren't talking to the steward, you were talking to some random citizen before.
Oh.
Yeah, we were just
you-
on the street.
I am
though.
not allowed to vote.
Really?
I'm not a citizen of the city.
Where are you a citizen?
We don't talk about where we're from as stewards.
Right.
Yeah, but we like breaking rules with stewards.
Yeah, it would be a big boy crime to tell us.
So which is the best pretzel place?
Like I said, I don't know much about pretzels.
Let's just go find a pretzel.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
I like Grimfists.
We'll probably be back maybe.
Okay.
We'll spend the rest of the time finding a pretzel.
You wander around the central square for a little while, and you manage to find a pretzel stall.
Okay.
It's
Olsef, buy me a pretzel.
There's a couple Nordfeldians that have opened up a pretzel stall. It seems they have like a traveling wagon where they make pretzels. They might
a
go
wagon?
from town to town selling pretzels.
Yes. You who sell pretzels,
Yes?
I will buy 3.
3 pretzels. And
How much will that be?
make a cupper for you. 9 copper.
Okay.
Thank you.
I give you a
Seems like
silver.
lot.
It's not a local thing anymore. It's like, it's hard to get the ingredients for pretzels.
I mean,
Oh,
you guys
they
are
gonna say the
basically
line,
at
or
like
they don't say that.
a fair.
Right.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
you're paying carnival tax right now. Is what you're paying.
So I give you a silver.
that's what
Say,
happened when you
keep
use
the,
the
keep the
bathroom.
change.
So if we're near the town square, is there anyone giving
Thank
like
you.
speeches or anything happening on like a stage?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
It's sort
Late.
of late in the evening, and people are celebrating and talking. There's a lot of festivities going on, but no one seems to be grandstanding.
Okay. I mean, we'll just probably eat pretzels in the main square until our sailor friends come back.
All right.
Unless you want to look for them.
After a while, they come back. Well, we've managed to secure some lodging.
Where?
Well, we'll give you a choice. You can go to the Salty Dog, which is full of character, if their beds are perhaps more full of rough hay. But it's quaint enough and the food is quite good. But we've also managed to secure a room for the 3 of you at the Swollen Pelican.
with food.
Yes.
Well, that sounds great, right? The Swollen Pelican.
Yeah.
I like the name.
What has made it swell?
I ate some rice.
Pride?
Not sure what would make the pelican swell, but that's the name of the tavern nonetheless. I found it's best not to ask how a tavern got its name.
Why
I
is
have
that?
not learned that lesson.
Oh, because usually the stories are tragic or disgusting.
Ah, perhaps Nines, it would be good when we go there for you to ask the backstory about the tragedy of the Swollen Pelican.
Well, I think we would like to stay at the Swollen Pelican then,
All right.
right?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Then off we shall go. Well, we have a room booked there for us as well. And we'll bed down for the night. I am dreadfully tired after sleeping all those nights out on the open road.
Would you like some of my pretzel?
Oh, I don't mind if I do.
Oh, you have pretzel day now.
Not up to Nordfeldian quality.
No, it's not.
And you are now at the Swollen Pelican. Mm-hmm. It's a bustling tavern. Not unlike many of the other taverns you've been to before. It's smaller than perhaps the Saddest Pony. But there's a whole lot of people hanging out, talking. It's not loud, but there's certainly a din of conversation. And you can just head up to the bar where someone seems to be kind of motioning you over.
We've been motioned.
Oh, perhaps someone is asking for us by name.
The gal working the bar says, Are you the three we're waiting for?
Who's asking?
Are you with the captain?
Yes.
Do you know his name?
Nope.
Do you know where he's from?
Don't ask questions.
What is
just
his
book rooms.
But what's
It's a good policy around here.
What's his favorite color?
Oh, based on his clothing, I'd say probably Merlot stains.
Specifically Merlot, though?
Well, I've seen a lot of Merlot stains in my day, and his shirt does seem to be covered in them.
Okay.
If the three of you would like your room here, I can give you your key. You can head on up. I've been asked to make an arrangement and bring you some food.
Food would be
Alright,
good,
yeah.
yes.
And I'd like to buy a bottle of Merlot to send to the captain.
Okay. That will be 2 silver.
Alright. Yeah.
She hands over the key.
It's pretty late, right?
It's
The
pretty
room
late.
is upstairs. Head left down the hall, and it's at the end of the hall.
Is the food coming to our room or do we eat it here?
We'll bring it up to you.
Room
Don't
service.
want us with the locals, I don't think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you down here. It gets a little bit rowdy this time of year.
Who do you support in the election?
I make it a practice to try not to talk politics with folks and get pretty heated. I'll be voting. I just don't talk about who.
What
get
do
a
you-
little sticker that says you voted?
That's a sticker.
Like a little badge that just goes on your shirt.
No, we don't get anything
A
like that.
dress.
No,
And how do you know who voted?
everyone votes. It's your duty.
Dude.
What do you think happened to Fervin?
Fervin. I think he blew himself up in a stupid accident.
What's the story behind the Swollen Pelican?
Well, the day we were opening up the bar, this is way back when my mother started the place.
No? It is a family joint then.
Yep, this is my place. Way back when we opened this place up, must have been 50, 60 years ago. So goes the tale, at least. We couldn't think of a name, and then a pelican came flying straight through the window, smashed right through the glass, and then landed all sprawled out on the floor. Poor thing was just swollen as could be, like a big old bubble. It had eaten some, well, bad fish. Caused a reaction. Swelled up. Don't know how much and quite what caused it, but the thing was in pretty bad condition, and the cuts from the glass hadn't helped. But we took it as a sign for a name, so my parents named it the Swollen Pelican.
You didn't take that as a bad omen.
Around here? No. Pelicans are lucky.
That's one.
Is that
Well,
why?
lucky for us, not lucky for the pelican.
Is that what that stuffed pelican is above the farm?
Oh, no. That one was
That's a
one we...
completely unrelated incident.
That's not that one. The original one, that wasn't mountable.
Oh, no.
It flew through a window. There wasn't a whole lot going for it at that point.
So what is your name?
My name? My name's Rachel.
Just Rachel?
Well, do you really want to know my last name?
Yes,
Why?
because I write it down
Okay.
in my book.
Book of Secrets.
Yeah.
Don't look at these 2 pages.
My name is Rachel McHavin.
And you are a second generation Swollen Pelican owner.
Yeah, that's right. She's a human, by the way. So unless there's something else I can do for you three, I'll let you head up to your room. We'll bring up food in a little while.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing the tragic tale of the Swollen Pelican.
Not really sure it's tragic.
It was tragic for the pelican.
Gotta go somehow. And she goes down to fill some drink orders.
If Nine dies that way, he'll die happy.
Eating bad fish.
Eating a bad fish and jumping through a window.
window.
And then being immortalized on the name of a tavern.
You head up to your room.
Swollen nines.
The Curious Cat.
You head up to your room, and a little while later, they bring up a simple dinner, some soup, bread, a bit of roasted chicken, and you bed down for the night. Ready to get some rest. The captain swings by and lets you know that they're just down at the other end of the hall, 3 of them, and you fall asleep.
No, we didn't have a chance to.
And we get attacked by gnolls.
If you want to practice your skills, you can go ahead and do so.
I would like to go and see if the captain will teach me lockpicking.
You know, why not?
All right, I'll look like you while I do it.
How disturbing. Yeah, go ahead, Ulseth.
That was a 62.
Okay. Soria.
48 and 92.
And 9s.
51.
Well, go ahead and roll for your pretzel days then.
Ooh. It would be unlikely to have.
No, that was a 3.
It would be unlikely to have a pretzel day with those, but you never know. 7.
3, 7.
I got my
And
20.
you got a nat 20. I
got
guessed
my
by your
nat
reaction. Yeah.
Yeah. 7!
Well, two of you were fairly disappointed in the pretzel.
Yeah.
But
They were kind of soggy and fishy.
something about this particular pretzel, maybe the slightly fishy water it was made in.
The sea salt seasoned it.
Yeah.
And the fishy water.
Something about this just was perfect.
I feel like
For you
my
guys.
character would like a slightly fishier pretzel, so.
Since you still have DM inspiration, why don't you?
I have it?
No, I have DM inspiration.
I thought all three of you had it.
I had it for doing something cool.
For some reason, I thought all three of you
Yeah,
had
I've
it.
kept mine.
Well, then
forever.
you may gain DM inspiration.
Yes, I don't remember when I used it, but I did use it.
All right, you have DM inspiration then for having a pretzel day. You sleep soundly through the night, and then in the morning, the wee early hours, all three of you are woken by the sound of a very large explosion. As it comes rocking the building, blows out the windows, and glass shatters all over the ground.
And a pelican.
Bourbon is back.
That is where we're going to end today's session.
Had an explosion.
At an explosion. So, you guys made it there, and you
We didn't
managed to-
fight anyone.
No,
No.
we managed to just roll right around that table.
We
And
definitely could have fought Hobgoblin.
you hit some one very rare event, and then some others that were not necessarily rare, but can only happen every once in a while.
So is that like definitely a god?
Why would I tell you?
I don't know. He acted like
Because I
he
asked.
acted like a pretty normal person, so
Especially when we like disappeared from time and space.
and then just got 500 gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope you all had a good time.
We did.
I hope you all have enjoyed watching this. And we will be back Tuesday painting.
Oh.
And I believe we will be able to bring you a couple more games.
Magic.
Best 2 out of 3 of those Magic Gathering games. And if we are able to, we will announce that on our social media channels. And tentatively, we will try to broadcast them Saturday, same time the following week. So,
And we'll probably have them on YouTube.
oh yeah, we'll put them up on YouTube, of course. So they are all pre-recorded, edited together. Sori and I will be in chat laughing at ourselves. We definitely screwed up math in the game. As I was going through editing the footage and piecing together the film, it's like, yeah, we
missed
definitely missed some math in there.
Zoria arithmetic. huh?
that. Yeah.
We definitely did that. But you know, I had to count the life as we counted it. So looking back at it, we're like, oh yeah,
We just
you screwed
missed
that up.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to watch. It was fun. It was fun to put together. That was pretty interesting, and we'll be live chatting each one of these that we do, because they are all put together. So hey, see you guys in a couple of days, and stay safe. We love you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.